So a couple of weeks ago it was announced that the fight between YouTube boxer Jake Paul and boxing legend Mike Tyson had been postponed due to medical reasons. We would later learn that Iron Mike apparently had a health scare regarding an ulcer as he was getting off an airplane around a month ago, which called this already insane matchup even more into question than before, and left many critics shaking their head and even more angry that Jake would be taking on a man who on numerous occasions has had to use a cane to walk properly.
Is this fight rigged?
Absolutely not. That's a federal crime.
There's no doubt that Mike still has insane skill and power when it comes to boxing, and yes, a couple of years ago we did see Mike Tyson defeat Roy Jones Jr., but that was him going up against another old man, and it really did show. And that was much more of a friendly exhibition, whereas this is actually going to be going on his official fight record. Something I personally think that he takes a lot more seriously than others suggest. And despite all the backlash, the fight is now apparently back on. I guess Netflix said they want their money, and they want it now.
It's my money and I need it now!
So in this first clip I have to show you guys, this was Jake's immediate reaction to the fight getting postponed, where he apparently was acting all depressed.
Bro, get a job.
So I guess this guy was all heartbroken out there crying in the rain, putting some of those Disney acting skills to work. Here is the official re-announcement of the fight, where Jake says new date, same place, same fate, Paul versus Tyson. And so they are now going to be fighting on Friday, November 25th. It's still going to be in AT&T Stadium out in Dallas, Texas. And they got Mike looking real mean on the poster, like he's ready to get in somebody's life. I mean, you already knew, with this being a very heavily marketed live event on Netflix, and an unprecedented event at that, they were not going to let this shit get actually canceled, even if Mike has to go in there fighting cane and all. Now, in contrast, Mike would post this, new date for Jake's wake. Mike would also go on to post this video.
Different Rangers were to come and fight in their place. Knock out Jake Paul.
And I really hope you do, Mike. I think that everyone is rooting for you, including this man Dana White, who is actually pretty upset that Jake Paul is fighting Mike Tyson.
If I brought up Jake Paul, pretty much everybody in the room and the other room wants to see Jake Paul get knocked out. You got the reason why you hope Tyson would pull this off? Or...
Did you help set that up? Because I know you're close with Tyson.
God, no. God, no.
And as you guys will see right here, Dana actually thinks that this fight is not only a disgrace to the sport, but actually like the whole thing is beneath Mike Tyson, and that Jake Paul is a punk bitch for even participating.
Alright, let's talk about the Tyson fight. Do you think the age difference plays a big role in the outcome of the fight?
Check out the ice and lead us
No, I think Mike is
So the brass and Ranger Team November across the Rockies.
When this fight happens, Tyson will be 58. Under any circumstances, a fucking almost 60-year-old man shouldn't be fighting a 27-year-old.
But he's still Mike Tyson. I mean, it would be one thing if he was going up against an actual professional boxer in his prime, but this is the Disney guy. It's not like the Rocky movie where he was already in his 50s and he went toe-to-toe with that young black fighter.
Even if it's Mike Tyson, so it's fucking ridiculous. When he actually fought somebody who was a boxer, who had the same type of record he has, who was his age,
Tommy,
and who was his size, he fucking lost.
Yeah.
And obviously they're talking about Tommy Fury there. I think that that was actually a closer match than a lot of people would give Jake credit for, but it is still a fair assessment to say that he got dog-walked by the reality star.
So, they're never going to go that route again. I saw some guy the other day say, when are you going to stop fighting gimmick fights? You going to call Mike Tyson a gimmick?
Well, yeah. It is a gimmick fight, but if I'm him, I would never
If you got people that are fucking dumb enough to pay for that shit, fucking, you know,
it's on Netflix.
good
You
for
don't even
you.
have to pay now.
Huh?
It's on Netflix. You don't even have to pay.
Brilliant move, too, because you don't have to go pay. Everybody has Netflix. Just turn it on. I'll turn it on and see what happens. This guy's 27. He's in his prime as a human.
Yeah.
And I love Mike. And nobody wants to see Mike get beat by this fucking jerk off, you know?
Well, yeah, no one wants to see Jake send Mike to the Shadow Realm. I highly doubt that that's going to happen.
58 years old, dude. You look like 20 years old. What the hell? What are you eating? Raw meat.
I mean, don't get me wrong, guys. I know a lot of people are real worked up about this entire thing. I know it kind of boils a lot of people's blood. But I think like Andrew here, I kind of just see the entertainment value in the whole event. And so I hate to say it, but I'm still looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a very entertaining time. Speaking of Andrew's shows, I think that him and Mike might have had the same barber back in the day.
It's a beautiful picture.
I was just a little boy,
How old were you?
20. I was the youngest person there.
That nigga that cut your hair and give you no blend.
Seriously though, guys, why the f does Andrew Scholes keep rocking that terrible haircut? Looking like he's part of Adolf's youth program. KSI would even chime in with his apparent final offer to Jake Paul. I do feel like this is a boxing match that everyone has wanted to see, and these are going to be his final stipulations.
Today, Jake, I'm going to be making you my final offer. May 2025. Just so you have all the time in the world to be ready.
So he wants the fight to happen a whole year from now, and he says the reason behind that is so Jake can have all the time to be ready, but hasn't Jake been the one who's still like been in fight camp this entire time for years? Whereas KSI seems to be a bit more recreational when it comes to fighting.
And we can even do it in America, just to make you that bit more happy. But that is it when it comes to giving you advantages. I mean, first of all, we agreed to fight at 180 pounds, and then you decided to run away and fight Nate Diaz instead. Then you came back, won in the fight at 185 pounds. And then you decided, you know what, scratch that, let's fight at 200 pounds.
Yeah, I don't know if I see Jake fighting at 185 right now. I believe he's bulked all the way up to like 220 or 230 for this Mike Tyson match. So 185 would kind of have him looking like Ryan Garcia when he fought Tank Davis.
I'm tired of this bullshit. Get off the cycle and let's make this work. We both have weight to lose, and we both have plenty of time to do it. 185 pounds is my final offer. Take it or leave it. If you come back with some bullshit on social media, I will sleep good knowing that deep down you never really had the balls to fight me in a fair fight.
Ooh.
You were never actually about it. You were just trying to save face online.
And I do like that little message at the end from KSI because it does kind of put the ball back into Jake's court. Basically saying if you do not accept this offer, well, you were never about shit and you're a pussy. While also insinuating that Jake is on steroids, saying hop off that cycle, get back down to a more natural weight and let's do this.
Are you on performance enhancing drugs?
If taking Viagra counts, then yes.
Of course, people started resurfacing these type of videos where you can see Tyson walking with the cane.
How you doing, Mike? Good to see you, brother. You looking good, Mike. You're welcome.
Also, you guys should never forget when Mike Tyson thought that Hasbulla was an actual baby and treated him as such. Nah, man. No, man. Giving the raspberry behind the ear to a grown-ass little man, I mean, it doesn't get much funnier than that. I mean, I gotta be real, I'd be so scared of Mike. He could probably do that shit to me and I wouldn't say nothing. And last but not least, I wanted to show you guys this hilarious clip where this guy got Mike Tyson's face and even like a picture of him in the ring there tattooed on his forearm. He finally gets a chance to see his idol face to face, and it did not go at all how he probably planned in his head a million times over. Because Mike could not give any less of a Damn, my guy could not even get a picture with Mike. This is why you guys should absolutely never meet your idols, okay? You can go out there and get another man's face tattooed on your body, and he might not even give you the time of day. But either way, I want to know what you guys think about this revamping of the fight. I'm definitely going to be going to the event, seeing that it's not that far away from me. Hopefully I get to see Mike Tyson knock that boy out. Either way, y'all know it's been your boy, the Tan Superman, and some other Disney YouTuber boxing drama out here needs to be covered. So I'm out. Peace.
Looks like covers that you would have been able to find at the Universal Studios Mummy Ride.
Oh.
From the children's song and dance of a generation, topping the charts, TV deals, to facing life in prison. Silento, or Ricky Hawk as his classmates knew the 16-year-old, became famous overnight, seemingly. Specifically after one song, Watch Me Whip and Nay Nay. The track is an infectious dance song that was created so people could enjoy some easy dance moves and have fun. People will be dancing and smiling all around the world for the next 30 years whenever my song gets played. In 2015, the track quickly became viral and appeared on major listening platforms like iTunes, YouTube, Vine, and SoundCloud. Soon after, the track reached number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 and stayed there for 6 weeks straight. The single for a while was topping iTunes in 15 countries and on the UK's Shazam charts. In fact, Silento got the plaque at a renowned LA Troubadour Club as part of Capitol Records' 3rd annual Capitol Congress event. Moreover, Silento was nominated for the Choice R&B Hip Hop Song category at the Teen Choice Awards, and he made a few appearances on different live TV shows like Good Morning America and Live with Kelly. It wasn't just the dance moves that brought Silento the fame and popularity, though. A lot of the thanks goes to the entertainment brand Dance On and the music distribution company TuneCore, which are responsible for the initial buzz around Watch Me. Before the song appeared on Dance On's radars, it reached success on Instagram and Vine when Camille Moussard, who was head of video at TuneCore, spotted it and brought it to Dance On's attention. It was kind of like putting two ingredients together. One was the dance and the influencers of the dance network, and the other one was a song that everybody was eager to listen to, but they just didn't know about it yet. To create the hit, knowing the moves of the 21st century weren't enough, Silento worked with Bolo the producer. He reached out to him on Instagram, and he spent a couple of weeks making his case to him, as the latter had some reservations about creating the song, but in the end he agreed. For like 2 months, he kept trying to tell me, hey, I got this song. It's going to be a hit record. And I thought it was the craziest idea. For a hit record, it has to be the perfect song, perfect beat, perfect timing, perfect everything. Plus, having the dance come from Atlanta, which is a very young, dance-oriented city, there were a lot of groups dancing to it online, and it spawned so many videos on these apps. Moreover, the song gave a push to other artists such as Ayo and Teo to release their songs with a similar vibe, although none of them had the same potential to be the next viral craze. Watch Me was said to have grown on people because of the power of online video platforms, specifically hashtags, Vine, and Instagram video.
True.
While still being in school and getting famous, Silento said in an interview, after Watch Me blew up, the kids who were always disrespectful to me in school began to show respect and say, "What up?" to me when I would see them in the halls. Fame in high school was a blessing since the music kept me focused on working on my craft as an artist, which is what makes me happy. It was a distraction to any negative energy that had come my way. And then continued about important lessons he made while being that famous among his peers. I learned that if you put in the work, believe in yourself, and ignore the noise or pressure to stop doing what you're doing and putting in the work, respect, success, and happiness will come. I always kept that positive mindset and smiled at everyone at school in the hallways, still saying hi to those who doubted me because there's no reason for any hate out there. I want everyone to win and be happy. However, at the same time, fame at such a young age taught me not to trust anyone. Follow through with my word and live my life the best way I'd want to create for myself. Need to keep going through those hurdles and do what you want to do because at the end of the day, you're in control. While it seems that being successful at a young age can bring a lot of good, it didn't seem to be all roses and sunshine for Silento, because he went through some struggles with mental health and even took a break from performing and composing to focus more on his mental well-being. In 2017, the chain of legal issues involving Silento started. The very first episode was when Silento would not leave the UAE, or the United Arab Emirates, due to a business dispute. The grounds of the dispute were that Silento did not show up for the 2 shows that he had to perform at Al Ain and Abu Dhabi on the 18th of February. As the owner of event organizer Maki Entertainment, Maki Taj El Sir Abdul Halim, said, "He didn't show up. I just wanted to get my own money back. I don't want to ruin his reputation." Abdul Halim wanted to recover performance fees, travel, and marketing costs, which were estimated at 300,000 dirhams or $81,500. The court ruling ordered Silento to pay the said amount of money. On the 20th of February, a travel ban was placed on Silento, and he was commanded to surrender his passport to the court until the money was paid off. A representative of Silento in the Middle East, Jenna Kadum, stated that the allegations were in question, and in fact the promoter himself was guilty of not living up to his end of the deal. Silento did not cancel any shows at all. The rapper only learned of the travel ban against him on Wednesday. There was no comment from Jenna on whether Silento handed in his passport or not. The U.S. Embassy in Abu Dhabi did not comment on the matter either. Silento became aware of the legal issues early Thursday when he finished his show in a Dubai nightclub. I can't even leave the UAE, but I'm still in the club. In the late hours of Wednesday, Silento posted a link to his Twitter page encouraging fans to donate to his fundraiser, Free Silento, so that he could return to America again. After that, in 2020, 2 arrests followed each other. The first one was on August 28th when Silento was booked in Santa Ana for inflicting corporal injury on a spouse or a cohabitant in a domestic violence incident. He was charged with a felony and posted bond, but was released on the same day. After that, things got a bit weird because the internet, specifically Twitter, suggested that Silento's girlfriend allegedly leaked very private photos of Silento's behind that many users found disturbing. Supposedly, after that incident, the very next day, Silento was wandering the streets wielding a hatchet, and he walked into a random home looking for his girlfriend. Homeowners with their children were present the moment Silento walked in and were terrified. But one of the homeowners had a gun and was able to stop Silento. Luckily, nobody was harmed. In a few moments, Silento's friend came to the house and informed the rapper that he was at the wrong place. So together they took off. But LAPD officers chased Silento a block from his home and booked him and charged him with 2 counts of assault with a deadly weapon. He was taken into custody and posted bail of $105,000. In 2 months, Silento was arrested again, but this time it was for speeding in DeKalb County, Georgia. He was pulled over by a police officer at 3 a.m. for driving at 143 miles per hour. From his white BMW, Silento insisted that he didn't break any laws, and stated that, firstly, he was driving at such a speed because he didn't want to be chased by fans. And second, if there are like 10 cars following me, I can do 140 because I'm not a regular person. And you could go and look on your computer, and it would tell you that. But Silento was arrested again and held at DeKalb County, where he was informed of several charges and was later released on bond. The charges included speeding, reckless driving, failure to maintain the lane, and improper stopping. It was January 21st when police officers responded to the call in the residential area in DeKalb County, Georgia. The witnesses said something about hearing gunshots. When the police arrived at the scene, they found Frederick Roots bleeding on the street from being shot in the face and the leg. In no time, he was pronounced dead at 3 a.m. Detectives who arrived at the scene gathered security videos from the homes in the neighborhood, which showed several cars that were quickly driving away from the crime scene. Also, those videos captured at least 1 gunshot. Near the body, detectives found 8 bullet casings. At that moment, it wasn't clear who was the main suspect and what was the motive of the crime. But soon after, police determined that Silento was a suspect and probably committed the crime. It remained unclear how police found out that it was Silento. On the police department's Twitter page appeared an announcement. On January 21st, the DeKalb County Police Department investigated Rook's death after he was found shot on Deep Shoal Circle. Hawk is in DeKalb County Jail charged with murder. After Silento was arrested, his publicist, Chanel Hudson, published the following statement on his Instagram page. Please send my client Silento some positive vibration. Over the past several years, Ricky has been suffering immensely from a series of mental health illnesses. We will continue in his efforts of treatment, but we ask in the meantime that the public uplift him and his family in immediate prayer and positive energy. Ricky is a beautiful soul, and we hope that the same people who came up whipping and nay-naying with him continue to support him and be lifted in prayer. God bless. In the post description, she expressed her hopes that this situation would pass, as well as all previous ones. Chanel Hudson asserted that she had a very close relationship with her client, Ricky. She said that she was well aware of his mental health issues, specifically his struggles with anxiety and depression. But to her dissatisfaction, Silento was not consistent about getting better and resolving those problems. Chanel said that she believed that the case against her client was based on some shaky evidence, and she stated that the justice system would decide Silento's fate. No matter what his charges are, He's a human being, and it doesn't cost anything to pray for him and his family or send him positive vibrations. I hope people continue to have a little empathy. Hudson added at the time, former legal guardians and Ricky's attorney were assembling his criminal defense team, and the lawyer was constantly in touch with Silento in jail. Moreover, Chanel Hudson explained that in the last couple of years, presumably from the appearance of the first legal problem, she was trying to humanize Silento. She said that in May of 2019, she booked him on the daytime talk show The Doctors, where Silento got the chance to talk extensively about having mental issues. That wasn't a situation where he just showed up and sat down for 30 minutes. He did a psychological evaluation ahead of time. It was a 4 or 5 day process. While being on the show, Silento explained that he was already born with marijuana, cocaine, and heroin in his system. He mentioned his struggles with anxiety and depression and said that it was highly likely that he was prescribed ADHD medication by mistake. I don't know if these demons will ever go away. Chanel also pointed out the fact that Ricky was suffering from depression wasn't based on him being a failure. Quite the opposite, Silento was traveling around the globe, frequently performing, and making constant appearances on various children's television shows and programs. But when the pandemic took over, Silento broke to pieces and allegedly attempted suicide at the beginning of 2020. Unfortunately, nobody was really paying too much attention to what was happening to him. And after that suicide attempt, Silento showed some signs of destructive behavior and was arrested 3 times, each one getting more attention than the last. Despite that, bond on the current case was denied. Hudson stated that she planned to continue supporting Ricky because he supported her as well, and she needed that. I will not turn my back on him. I bet in some way, shape, or form, he's writing about his experience. On February 1st, Silento was charged with malice murder and felony murder. In a few months, Silento was put into an Illinois jail on 1 count of murder. At the court hearing on June 9th, the judge looked over his mental health history and stated that he was a danger to society. Prosecutors on the cases stated that Ricky's grandparents wished their grandkid would stay in prison to prevent him from being a threat to himself and other people. And on August 3rd, he was indicted on charges of malice murder, felony murder, aggravated assault, and possession of a firearm while committing a felony. His trial is yet to begin, and he has not yet taken any guilty plea. But it's one shocking turn of events that the man who created one of the biggest children's songs of the last decade is now facing a life in prison at the young age of 24.
Don't make anyone gangster. So rapping about guns don't make you want to be gangster.
Can you imagine if a suburban Eminem lookalike took over hip-hop with fake gangster credentials and guns as props? Well, if you were around in 2015, you'll remember the moment that Slim Jesus arrived on the scene. Video after video, he was going viral on WorldStar at will, and he was even courted by major labels, as I truly believed that he could be right alongside Chief Keef and G Herbo as one of drill music's biggest stars. But as it turned out, he bit off more than he can chew, and after one fateful YouTube upload, everything that he had
that shit was wild.
stories. In this episode, I'll be discussing the life of Tara McMullen. Tara Carrera McMullen was born on May 24th, 1989, and was Mr. Vermont. From the age of 4, she enjoyed dancing, singing, and playing the piano. She grew up on the East Coast, but moved to Northern California in 1990.
YNW Melly has been in jail for the last 1,438 days. For 4 years, the world has been wondering if the rapper is in fact guilty of premeditated murder, with the victims being his 2 best friends that he has known since elementary school. As of right now, the death penalty is a potential fate for him. But just before he got arrested, he released his collaboration with Kanye West that skyrocketed his fame. He had multiple songs generating millions of views and streams, and was on his way to being the next SoundCloud superstar. When the news broke that he was being investigated, people started to scrutinize him. His lyrics were shockingly descriptive. His interviews may have had clues that could tie him to this crime. His life in jail for the past 4 years has been rough, where he's being subject to inhumane treatment and borderline torture from the jail guards. As of today, YNW Melly is not guilty, but since we have not heard his defense yet, it's hard to imagine his innocence. Jamel Demons,
We'll each
yes,
find our own
that's
way
his
out
real
there
name,
and
was
catch him
born
front
to
and back.
mother Jamie
Got
Demons
it?
King when she was just 14 years old. The teenager and her mother raised the boy at the Orangewood Park Apartments in Gifford, Florida.
Good.
In kindergarten,
And remember,
Jamel
all
met
right,
his first
move
friend,
out.
Christopher
And keep an
Thomas,
eye out
who
for
we now know
survivors.
as YNW
Let's not
Juvie.
leave anyone
So then
behind.
when I walk in the kindergarten room, I see him, then he just started smiling and dancing, so it just made me happy. Now I want to be here.
Since his mother was so young, they moved around to various projects up and down eastern Florida. He still doesn't know who his father is. Jamie says her son was a great kid, quiet, smiling, loved to sing and dance, but Melly admits he had a dark side to him, one that he discovered when he was just 9 years old.
At the couch with a whole bunch of toys and shit under it. Like, I seen a toy gun. I was just playing with that bitch. Like, pew, pew.
Then Melly discovers his uncle's real gun.
When I rolled, I hit my head under the couch. When I hit my head under the couch, I stayed up for a little bit. I seen some shit shining. It was a 22 revolver, a real gun. I'm a kid though, so I just walk out the house and I shot that bitch. And I couldn't hear out my ear for like a week. But then I was like, damn, this a real gun, you know what I'm saying? If you up that bitch at a nigga and bust his ass, that's his soul in that. Like, it's death in this motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? All I gotta do is up this motherfucker in your ass, just you disappear, bitch. Real shit, bro. I like how them bitches look, for real. I'm in love with them bitches.
Before Melly was 10 years old, he was infatuated with the power of having a weapon. In 7th grade, he brought a very large knife to school and threatened to unalive himself and another girl. It's pretty clear this young man was very deeply disturbed at a young age. Shifting his focus towards music was productive for him. In 8th grade, he recorded his first song. In 2015, YNW was formed. Jamel went by Melly, Christopher went by Juvie, Anthony Williams went by Sack Chaser. The rap crew started releasing music consistently on SoundCloud in mid-2015 and quickly gained support from their classmates. But at the start of 10th grade, Melly caught his first case for firing a weapon at 3 upperclassmen in a school zone. Demons was charged with 3 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and 1 count of discharging a firearm in public. This got him expelled from school and locked up for 1 year at age 16. It was during this time that Melly decided to take his music career very seriously, so he got to work. Clearly, Melly had a gift. He has a very unique, raspy, yet deep cadence, and naturally knows how to control his pitch. He spent his days behind bars writing love songs and murder ballads.
Girl, you know I love it when I'm next to you.
Don't think I could have lasted another second. really didn't
When he
know
got
her.
released around October of 2016, he released
Wait.
his track
Major
772
don't know
Love,
if
which
he'll
gained a lot of
come
local
with you
support
if you
and some
find him.
online buzz. He then
Major's
previewed another
just
track that he
his
wrote behind
nickname.
bars that would end up changing his life.
Okay.
Careful.
Careful.
I ain't get to roll no switches. I was locked up on Christmas. I ain't get to see my niggas.
Melly knew this track, Murder on My Mind, was going to be a big one. He eventually recorded the song on a whole new beat with a faster tempo and released it in March of 2017. This is where Melly started taking his social media presence very seriously, focusing on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Since he was on parole from his previous bid, the judge actually used this song as a violation of his parole because of its detailed lyrics of Melly fantasizing about murdering people, and thus he got locked up again. Now, using song lyrics to incriminate someone is illegal in some states, and a lot of people like to make the argument that it's just art, which is definitely true, but Melly, even outside of his music, has made multiple questionable statements that are too dark to ignore. It was during this second confinement where he really started to generate a following. It's unclear how much time he spent locked up, but he was now 17 years old, and around October of 2017, his team was promoting a #FreeYNWMelly campaign. His family and friends even produced and filmed an entire music video for his song 772 Love, which now has over 40 million views on YouTube. Upon his release in March of 2018, he was starting to explode. He immediately dropped a music for Melly the Menace and did a number of live performances in Florida. His fame was leveling up. He released Blue Balenciagas, which would go on to do 70 million views, released a track called Butter Pecan, and he was traveling around the country and enjoying his freedom. All the while, Murder on My Mind was generating millions of views, and rap fans around the world were catching on to the YNWMelly wave. In fact, a lot of artists like Young Thug, Lil Durk, T Grizzly, and Uzi were big fans of Melly before most other normal fans caught on. He was a lot of artists' favorite artist. Right after his 18th birthday, he got arrested again for possession of marijuana, possession of weapon or ammunition by a convicted felon, and drug paraphernalia. Cortland Henry, aka YNW Bortland, Melly's longtime friend, was also arrested for possession of a weapon or ammunition by a convicted felon. They both posted bonds and were released the following day. With Murder on My Mind exploding, it was time for him to record a music video, and it's too graphic for me to even show. But he visually depicts the aftermath of a crime scene where he shot a friend and the friend slowly dies in his arms. These lyrics have been psychoanalyzed, and even though he wrote this song many years ago, the song may have shockingly foreshadowed real events. I didn't even mean to shoot him, he just caught me by surprise. I reloaded my pistol, cocked it back, and shot him twice. His body dropped down to the floor and he got teardrops in his eyes. He grabbed me by my hands and said he was afraid to die. I told him, "It's too late, my friend, it's time to say goodbye," and he died inside my arms. In his first interview with No Jumper, his whole demeanor was strange, but he revealed something very interesting.
So what you got tattooed on your face? Tell me about it a little bit.
What? On my face?
Yeah. You got the heart on this side. What's that say above your eyebrow on that side?
Which side?
Oh, either one. What's it?
No. I got a sat chase right here. That's my twin.
Okay.
I will gut you like a
Judy? Just a lot of your friends who passed?
Nah, them my niggas right there.
Oh, okay.
My brothers right there.
My bad. I wouldn't get none of my friends tattooed on my face until they died. I'm not a good friend like you are, apparently.
So Melly has his two best friends' name tattooed on his face. These types of tattoos are usually to commemorate lost ones, but in this case, they are alive and well for now. As Melly was finishing up his album We All Shine, one of Kanye West's writers, Sci-Hi the Prince, showed him Melly's music. Ye flew him out to LA to work on music, and when he got there, they had a pretty funny first meeting.
I was eating a pickle in his refrigerator. When I turned around, all I heard was, "Who pickled them is?" Yeah. I was like, "Oh shit, that's Kanye, what the fuck?" Then he was like, yeah, how long the pickles been in there? I'm like, I don't know. Man, that. Then he came, and he was like, "Nah, I'm not gonna touch those."
So Melly, his manager 100K Track, and Kanye are in the studio for 2 hours listening to music until he asks Melly to play some of his songs, and this is what happened.
Then we play Mixed Personalities, and he goes crazy. He's like, "Bruh, this is me, this is Ye, this is Kanye, this is Yeezy, this is me." And he's like, I'm like, damn. So me and Melly looking at each other like, damn, he fuck with it. He like, bro, I want to jump on this.
This is me. This is easy.
He said, I want to jump on this. But then after I told him no, he was like, damn, why? I was like, because we about to drop it. We're in the process. He's like, bro, whatever I got to do, I get it done, like to be on the record, like, because this is really me, like I'm feeling a connection to it.
Kanye resonated with the mixed personalities track, most likely because of his struggles with bipolar disorder, which Melly also admits he has been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. They came together, filmed a music video with Cole Bennett, and it would ultimately get released. This is only the second SoundCloud artist that Ye collaborated with, before Donda. The other one was Lil Pump. So Melly just secured a ticket to superstardom with that feature. But just when things were looking great, a very, very dark day was around the corner. On October 26, 2018, YNW Bortland, whose real name is Cortland Henry, shows up to Memorial Miramar Hospital with 2 dead bodies in his car. The victims were both on the right side, front and back seat. They were the bodies of Anthony Williams, aka YNW Sack Chaser, and Christopher Thomas, aka YNW Juvie, Melly's 2 childhood friends. The vehicle had 8 shots on the right side and 1 through the back window. The police asked what happened, and Bortland said they were victims of a drive-by shooting. He said he left the New Era recording studio in Fort Lauderdale, drove west on 595, then south on 75, and exited on Miramar Parkway heading west. He said on Southwest 160th, a vehicle passed by on his right side and started shooting. He ducked down to avoid being shot, and when he sat up, he saw his friend bleeding out, so he drove to the hospital, which was conveniently right around the corner. After this report, the detectives and officers shut down the crime scene and walked 12 blocks on foot. Not a single report of gunshots, nor evidence of a shooting was found. Bortland was tested for gunshot residue on his hands but came back negative. The roommate, Dontavius Withers, of Sack Chaser and Juvie, was questioned by the police since he lived at their last known address. He said there were 2 cars when they left the studio, a gray Jeep, which is where the murder took place in, and a red Mitsubishi, which Withers said that he and Melly were in. He said he went straight home and found out later that his roommates were dead and didn't know where Melly was. But it was later proven that Withers lied about the situation. Before police showed up, he was with Melly at Fredo Bang's house. Withers changed his story and said that Melly was in the Jeep when they left the studio, but then got into the Mitsubishi around Sheridan Ave when Withers Snapchatted him to pick him up. Police obtained security footage from the manager of the recording studio, which proved Melly left in the gray Jeep. He got into the back left seat. Remember, victims were in the front right and back right seats. Cell phone records show that Withers went straight home without stopping, so Melly never entered the Mitsubishi. When police investigated the Jeep, they found 1 .40 caliber shell casing on the floorboards where Melly was sitting. It was inside a white plastic bag. If this was a drive-by, there would not be shell casings inside of the car. This supports evidence that shots occurred from inside of the car. Police were able to obtain T-Mobile cell phone records that track their locations minute by minute. These records show that Melly, Bortland, Sack, and Juvie were all in the car together at the time of the murder. They did confirm that the Jeep exited on Miramar Parkway, but turned north on Southwest 184th and then west on Pines Boulevard at 353, and then turned back east at 406. This is enough time to make it all the way to the outskirts of the city where nothing is around, and back. The cell phone records also show that they were driving around the area west of I-75 before arriving to the hospital at 4:35. Melly's cell phone was separated from the car at 4:32, just 3 minutes before the Jeep arrived to the hospital. This is where people are assuming that Melly and Bortland were trying to get their story straight, driving around the city, and then ultimately Melly hopped out before Bortland took them to the hospital. Melly then FaceTimed his girlfriend saying that they were a victim of a drive-by and he needed to be picked up, which confirms that he was at the scene of the crime. So police knew that there were a lot of conflicting statements from witnesses, and even some straight-up lies. They needed to conduct this investigation immediately. The next day when the news broke, YNW Melly took to Instagram and Facebook to grieve publicly, claiming that they took my brothers from me over jealousy. Melly proceeded with his career as usual. He released a documentary on his YouTube channel on December 4th, which featured Sack Chaser and Juvie, and a little bit about how close they were growing up. It also featured a section about how obsessed with guns Melly was. At the end of the documentary, it stated that 4 days after the completion of this film, YNW Melly and his friends were a target of a drive-by shooting. Then the Genius video dropped of Melly explaining the lyrics to his hit song Murder on My Mind, where he describes his love for guns and says he isn't a human murderer.
I murdered a and I murdered a bee. I am not no human murderer.
But on January 3rd, 2019, he was arrested in Florida on new charges. His sinister smiling mugshot went viral. Just 3 weeks later, while he was still locked up, Mixed Personalities dropped with a Lyrical Lemonade video. This was a huge moment for Melly and Cole Bennett, as Kanye was the first veteran superstar rapper he had worked with at that point. The song went mega viral, and Melly's fame exploded. This was the first time a lot of people have heard of him. He was about to become a mainstream artist, but on February 13th, just less than a month later, the investigation concluded, and a warrant for his arrest for the murder of his two friends was now official. He immediately turned himself in despite claiming his innocence. 2 weeks later, the evidence against Melly was released. Police discovered that YNW Portland lied about where the crime actually took place. The police used a canine to investigate the crime scene on Southwest 160th Street, which is where he reported the drive-by happened, but the dog found nothing. Officers then investigated a more rural area that they thought maybe was the crime scene, and the canine found some evidence. The dog discovered 8 .40 caliber shell casings and 2 types of glass that matched the front passenger and rear passenger window of the Jeep. So now they know the crime scene is not even close to where it was reported. This prompted them to investigate the vehicle again, and they decided to do a trajectory analysis using rods and strings to determine flight paths of projectiles. And they confirmed that there is no way this could have been a drive-by shooting based on the bullet paths and the wounds suffered by the victims. The police suspect that they parked the vehicle and staged a drive-by shooting before showing up to the hospital. When autopsy reports came back regarding the victims' wounds, the evidence shows the initial lethal shot occurred from inside the vehicle and was initiated from the left rear passenger side, the same position occupied by Demons, which is Melly. An intermediate wound by definition would indicate a distance of 3 inches to 3 feet between the victim and the weapon. However, due to a 3-centimeter stippling pattern, the weapon was in a close proximity to Thomas's head. This would be a straight-up execution-style shot. The gunshot wounds to the back of Thomas also indicates these wounds were inflicted after he was shot in the head, as the projectiles entered Thomas's back when he was leaning to the left. Evidence from the autopsy revealed that both victims' wound paths to their heads were from a left to right direction. This direction contradicts the statements made by Henry and does not support the statements of a drive-by shooting that occurred on the right side of the vehicle. Basically, they think Melly shot both of his friends point blank, and they drove around trying to come up with a story and staged a drive-by to make it look more convincing. And obviously, the police have garnered a lot of evidence to support that. Because of Melly's music about guns, murder, and admitting to having another personality, Melvin, who is reckless, unpredictable, and willing to kill, he hasn't exactly made himself seem like the most innocent man in the world. Most of his fans claim that this is just art. It's too common for rappers to make songs that glorify violence, gang activity, and all kinds of heinous crimes. This is all just for entertainment, and Melly is actually a good person. And when it comes to the music, it's hard to accuse someone of crimes based on that, but I think we can all agree some of his interviews and candid remarks about his alter ego Melvin make him look very suspicious. Plus, surely someone wouldn't kill their best friends, right? Well, there's absolutely nothing that indicates Melly had any beef or bad blood with Juvie, who he has known since kindergarten. However, with Sack Chaser, there is some suspicion. A video surfaced on the internet of Melly's mother saying this:
"Don't ever try to come for me, because I don't even play them type of games. Like, what the fuck you got that I ain't? Oh, you threaten me with your little gun? Bitch, I got big guns."
So she said Sack Chaser threatened her with a gun and also said that she has bigger guns. She was also in one of Melly's videos holding a Draco. So we can indicate from these that she might be into a more dangerous lifestyle than most mothers. Or maybe she was just being emotional on camera. Either way, she may have just gave the judge a reason to believe that there was a beef between Melly's mom and Sack Chaser, and that Melly would most likely defend his mom. Other than that, there isn't any strong intent for him to kill his friends, which is very important because they're trying to accuse him of premeditated murder. There are tons of rumors with very little or no evidence at all. Rumors that Sack Chaser was supposed to get $200,000 when Melly signed and he didn't want to pay him. Rumors that Sack Chaser got into a fight with Melly one time and knocked him out. Even rumors that Melly and Sack Chaser were in an intimate relationship and there was jealousy. There's an alleged video of Melly admitting to the murder, but it was just him singing Kevin Gates lyrics. There's a message he sent to a random Instagram account the night of the murder that says, "I did that," but with no context provided. But again, all rumors and very low evidence. It seems like the prosecutors have an extremely weak case. There is no confirmed murder weapon, and there is no intent. So to charge someone for first-degree premeditated murder and seeking the death penalty, they need a very strong case. Also, keep in mind we have no idea what Melly's defense is going to be. 4 years later, and we still have only heard one side of the story. And since Melly has been locked up, his life has been rough. He pled not guilty in March of 2019. The next month, they announced that they were seeking the death penalty. He announced in June that he would be home soon and was seen in court smiling. Melly vs. Melvin was his third studio album released while he was locked up, which eventually goes gold, and it spent 31 weeks on the Billboard 200 albums chart. Then in March of 2020, he's seen smiling in court again. In April, he tested positive for COVID-19. He'll be filing a motion for restricted release in hopes of better care due to any jails not being prepared to treat this new virus. He hopes for your support and to recover soon. Pray for Melly, send positive energy to him, please. Despite his health, he was allegedly involved in several fights with inmates, guards, alongside inmates, etc., causing him to lose his privileges and send him to solitary confinement for 70 days. Then YNW Bortland was granted house arrest, which is extremely uncommon for someone to get released, facing the severity of these charges. His team released another project in 2021, Just a Matter of Slime, which had an insane list of features, trying to hold on to the audience that is still there to support him. His physical condition got worse when it was reported that he had an abscess in his lower jaw, which is a bad chronic infection because of his diamond implants. He was denied dentist visits, a regular toothbrush or floss because they can be used as weapons. People suspected that the jail are trying to torture and break him down while he awaits this trial. In March of 2022, he filed for a speedy trial and was granted it. We thought we were going to get the answers, then it was pushed back a month, then another, and ultimately postponed indefinitely in May of 2022 after his own defense decided to rescind their speedy trial motion. There was another report that an inmate snitched on him and said he had shanks and pipe bombs in his cell, and he was trying to escape. But when they investigated, there was nothing. However, they did find weapons in someone else's cell close to him, so they were trying to pin it on Melly. At the end of 2022, he had made multiple long posts on his Instagram begging for help, citing specific officers that are abusing their powers, mistreating him, revoking his phone access, only letting him out of his cell for 1 hour a day, watching his every move, threatening to beat him up, and making sure his family never hears from him, cutting off all his communication with others, and straight up torturing him. These Instagram posts let us know the type of inhumane treatment that YNW Melly is facing right now. Now, reminder, he has not been found guilty of anything, so this treatment is definitely excessive. Going into 2023, we still do not have a trial date. 4 years, Melly has been behind bars, waiting to know his fate. The prosecutors have 600 pages of DNA, ballistic evidence, witnesses lying, Melly's own suspicious statements on social media, but they don't have a murder weapon. They don't have intent, and apparently they don't have anyone willing to testify against him. If Melly did this, it would be considered one of the most heinous crimes in rap history, but we don't know what his defense will be. So as of right now, he is innocent. Fetty Wap is going to serve a bare minimum of 1,825 days in prison, and he's facing up to 40 years for the crimes of conspiring to distribute over 500 grams of cocaine. But in 2015, he was on top of the world and had the music game in a chokehold. You heard at least one of his songs every day, multiple times per day for over a year straight. His first 4 songs he ever released debuted in the top 10 on the Billboard Hot Rap charts and remained in the top 10 simultaneously, something that was never done before. He even has the rare achievement of earning a diamond single, which is 10 million records sold. Fetty Wap made basically every wrong decision one could make throughout his entire career. He stayed loyal to the wrong people, made terrible financial decisions, and sabotaged his own career. Most people have no idea what even happened to him. How did he go from being a beloved superstar to a drug trafficking kingpin? Well, the story is even more tragic than we thought. Willie Maxwell had all the odds stacked against him, starting with the day he went blind. He was born with glaucoma, which in short causes fluid to build up in the eyes, putting pressure on the optic nerve and making it hard to see. At 6 months old, he had reconstructive eye surgery, and luckily the doctor was able to save one of them. Then at age 12, he decided he didn't like the prosthetic eye and embraced showing his blind eye.
I was born with glaucoma, and I lost the eye at 6 months, and I got reconstructive surgery when I was 12. and I just stopped wearing the prosthesis because I didn't want to look like everybody else.
To make matters worse, he grew up on the rough streets of Paterson, New Jersey, 22nd and 12th Street to be exact. Kids would bully him because of his eye, so he had to learn how to defend himself at an early age. However, he had one escape, and that was music. Willie played the drums alongside his father, his brother, and uncle in the local church. He was constantly surrounded by music and was putting on performances even as a child. He even took his talents to the school band, but Willie didn't like school, and the kids didn't like him, which led him to dropping out as a teenager. He got his nickname Fetty because he was always trying to get the money, but he never had a job, so he hit the streets to pay his bills. His family didn't support his lifestyle, so he resorted to sleeping on friends' couches and floors. As if times couldn't get any harder, he had his first child. He was broke with no plan and destined for failure until he met Monty, who introduced a way out. Monty was a local rapper in Paterson who introduced Fetty to the music scene. P. Dice and Nit the Grit were other artists who had a little bit of buzz in the city. P. Dice, Monty, Fetty, and a few others started calling themselves the Remy Boys, based on their love for Remy Martin's 1738 cognac. The third song Fetty ever recorded was Trap Queen. He always knew it was a hit, but it went unnoticed for years. Nit the Grit saw potential in the group and decided to quit his own rap career and start a production company / label called RGF Productions, and he signed them. But Nit was new to the business, and he needed help promoting his artists. He got connected with Muscle Team Fuzz, who is an OG in Paterson, rapper, CEO, community leader, among other things. Fuzz took Nit under his wing, showed him how to move like a boss, and how to get the support of Paterson. Fetty getting involved with these guys would be the best and the worst thing that ever happened to him. Nit and the Remy Boys would stand outside of Broadway Pizza in Patterson selling CDs. Fetty was okay with the traditional way of getting poppin' locally because his only goal was to get lit in his city. He never thought he had more potential than that, but once they took to the internet, everything changed. Fetty posted Trap Queen on his SoundCloud and YouTube, then promoted it on Instagram every single day trying to make some noise online. Despite his efforts, it was mostly unnoticed, gaining about 1,000 streams per day. At the time, he also released 679 with Monty and P. Dice. Nit and Fuzz knew these guys were making hits, and they were using all their connections in New Jersey and New York City to get these songs played in the clubs. Fuzz's artist Franco linked up with Fetty to make the song Zoo-Wop. This one was getting even more traction than Trap Queen. With RGF and Muscle Team Entertainment working together, Paterson was unified and about to put New Jersey on the map. By September 2014, Fetty Wap was a local star. Even in the middle of the internet age, Fetty managed to blow up the traditional way, in his city. 1 month later, Bobby Shmurda, who was at the peak of his career, posted a video of himself singing Trap Queen on Instagram. Blogs started covering the song, he did his first interview with Complex, and the internet was trying to figure out who this one-eyed rapper was. He secured a record deal with 300 Entertainment. However, they gave him a small advance of $200,000 because they didn't believe in his other songs. They only thought Trap Queen was a hit. 300 started pushing Trap Queen to radio stations all over the country, and in the beginning of 2015, the music video started gaining over 200,000 views per day. Funk Flex debuted a remix with French Montana on Hot 97. Rihanna said in an interview that it was the last song she purchased. Then Kanye brought out Fetty to perform at the Rock City Classic in New York City. Shortly after, Trap Queen debuted at number 86 on the Billboard Hot 100, 1 year after it was posted and 2 years after it was recorded. He went from local legend to mainstream household name in just a few months, but he didn't want all the fame for himself.
Like, I had a plan of how this shit was supposed to go. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that was supposed to be Monty's record. That was Monty's breakthrough record. Like, he was supposed to, boom, all right, Fetty Wap. Fetty Wap goes on tour, Monty goes on tour. You know what I'm saying? Was it supposed to be Fetty Wap and then Monty on the tour with Fetty Wap?
The record he was talking about was My Way. The now 3 times platinum record was supposed to be Monty's breakout single. It was actually Monty's song to begin with, but Drake heard it in the club, asked Fetty through Instagram DMs if he could remix the song. Fetty asked Drake if he could just leave Fetty on the hook, remove his verse, and just have Drake and Monty on the verses. But the OVO team kicked Monty off the song and released it on SoundCloud without Fetty's approval, and spoiled Monty's debut. The song was blowing up on the internet, but neither Fetty nor 300 Records ever really promoted the song. It wasn't even available on iTunes or streaming because Fetty didn't like the way Drake handled that business. Instead, they re-released the old track 679 to focus more on the Remy Boys. 679 hit Billboard immediately. Then a month later, his 4th single, Again, also hit the top 10 on the Billboard Hot Rap charts. By mid-2015, Fetty had his first 4 singles in regular rotation on the radio, but the fame never got to his head. When he made his first $1 million, he gave it to Nit the Grit for signing him to RGF and making all of this possible. But Fetty spent his money recklessly.
She's having trouble rousing some Dorseys who've been. Why don't you go give her a hand?
I can say that.
Show us what.
On this particular trip, it was like
all right.
8 million.
Let's move out
on one trip. Yeah.
Well, we go to the hotel, and the hotel like, yo, we don't have enough rooms. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want to hear this.
Right.
Call my man like, yo, I need a house right now.
Right.
They're like, you want to rent it? I'm like, nah, I'm just going to buy it.
Oh,
like,
man, I got to
sure? I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to buy it. I was doing like 150,000 a month bills. But I was, see, that's the dumbest shit I was doing. Like, matter of fact, yeah, if I had to, it was jewelry and like apartments. I had a lot of fucking apartments. I was traveling with 14, 15 niggas, 16 niggas, maybe sometimes 30 niggas. My worst shopping experiences was Barney's when the Balmain shit came out.
Yeah.
We're talking about $13, $14, $1,500 pair of jeans, bro. I'm buying 30 pair of jeans. Now, mind you, I'm only wearing one pair, but we spending 45. I'm spending 45,000 in this motherfucker on jeans, bro. I ain't even get my shirt yet.
Fetty would travel with 15 to 30 people, paying for all of their expenses, buying them all chains, spending $45,000 on jeans just so everyone could have a pair, bringing them all on stage during his shows. He wanted to show everyone the lifestyle, not because he felt pressure, but because he genuinely loved his people. When his debut album was finalized, he took the Drake feature off of My Way to help Monty, which seems honorable, but this genuinely hurt his career, and Knit the Grit didn't step in to try to force Fetty to do it. Drake and Fetty never talked again.
One thing about me at that time, bro, nobody could tell me shit. Like at that time of my life, like 2015, 2016, you couldn't tell me nothing.
The selfishness part was me. That wasn't for nobody else. That was me. I knew certain shit I could have did to make my shit better, but I ain't want to. Like, bro, a lot of shit that I went through, like I said, I'm happy all that shit happened. But yeah, for the most part, a lot of that shit was my fault, bro. Like,
unfortunately, in the music industry, you have to make sacrifices. Fetty didn't care. His management let him be the boss and make the decisions. He felt more like a regular dude than an industry dude. He hated the idea of connecting with celebrities and networking. He thought it was all fake. He wanted to be with his real friends in New Jersey. He gave everyone from Jersey a feature for free. He hated interviews. He was quiet and humble. He focused on everyone but himself, which is respectable, but not marketable and not good for business. Unfortunately, no matter how much love he showed to the people around him, despite all the money he shared, it got bad for Fetty, and they turned on him.
yeah, everybody got that shit. Everybody. If you from the hood and you make it out, it's the hood curse. It's like, so it go like this, right? So first is, that shit ain't gonna be da-da-da-da. Then it's gonna be like, oh, he got something going. And then it's like everybody supporting you. Oh yeah, we gonna make it. He about to make it. Da-da-da, da-da-da. And then when you make it, it's like, all right, well, he ain't come back and do this, and he ain't da-da-da-da-da. And that's the hood curse.
Fetty took care of a lot of people, gave them money, gave them opportunities. What they did with that was up to them. He realized some people took the money and expected more handouts, and some people used it to genuinely kickstart their own careers. But the first fallout started with P. Dice, who was on the last verse of 679, in which Fetty removed from his album. P. Dice wasn't around much, and most people don't even remember him as part of the Remy Boys.
What I told Dice was, if you gonna be a Remy boy till it's time for you to branch off the right way and bring your team up, my nigga. Don't come do shows here, do shows there, and think I'm gonna pay you like I'm paying everybody else. It don't work that way, my nigga. I could do 3 shows and be good for a couple months, my nigga. You just can't wait for that. That wasn't what you wanted. It was taking too long for P. Dice. Monty's well taken care of.
But Dice says that the beef originated with Tax G, a New Jersey rapper who claims that Fetty Wap stole his sound and look. Then Dice got into an altercation with Tax G, and in response they pressed Fetty Wap and said, either we go after Dice or all of y'all. And Fetty dropped Dice to avoid the beef with Tax G. We don't know if Dice is telling the truth, but a video did go on the internet of him getting jumped.
They ripped me with it at first, then I hit the ground, pop back up. That's when the tussle started. One of them was like, yo, what you want to do? Da-da-da-da. I mean, the other one was like, nah, it ain't that serious. And that's when the phone came out. That's when the recorder started, so.
Now people knew this was serious. Pete Dice started plotting his get back. In the meantime, Fetty had another big song with Lil Dicky called Save That Money, a song with David Guetta, a big song with Kid Ink, one with K-Camp, and another huge one with Fifth Harmony called In My Head. He cruised through 2016 with a bunch of big features. His last big solo song was called Wake Up, which some people consider a hit, but he wasn't even coming close to matching the takeover he had the year prior. Then he found out his own label could have been preventing his growth. Knit the Grit has to sign off on everything that Fetty does. Fetty was loyal to Knit since he brought him up from nothing. Apparently Future, Justin Bieber, and Beyonce all wanted to take Fetty on a world tour during his peak. but Nit tried to negotiate having the Remy Boys and RGF artists on the bill, and obviously they weren't interested. They just wanted Fetty. Allegedly, Nit denied all of these tours and had Fetty go on his own solo tour with the other RGF artists so that Nit could grow his roster instead of catapulting Fetty into even more fame. Nit says that Fetty was the one who didn't want to do it, and that he wanted to stay loyal to his guys. Nit also admits that he had very little business experience and knowledge. He also admits that the lawyer he hired to represent them all the way back to the first deal with 300 wasn't exactly the most top-of-the-line entertainment lawyer. If Fetty had gone on any one of those tours, his buzz probably would have lasted much longer. So it's unclear if Nit was trying to sabotage them intentionally, his lack of experience hurt them, or if it was Fetty just being stubborn. Because as we know, after 2016, Fetty Wap seemingly disappeared. But he wasn't even welcome in his hometown. P. Dice linked up with Muscle Team Fuzz, and they condemned Fetty from coming back to Patterson.
So Fetty Wap, and you like that, and you saying you run the city, we gonna be on your block shooting this video. You know what I'm saying? With your niggas.
A bunch of Patterson rappers filmed a diss track on 22nd and 12th, where Fetty is from, just to prove that Fetty was not a real gangster and he didn't run anything in Patterson. A few months later, there would be a robbery involving Fetty where 3 people got shot with non-critical injuries. His chain got stolen and Fuzz posted himself on Instagram wearing it. Fetty allegedly reported the stolen property to the police, which got Fuzz locked up. Fetty even dissed P. Dice in his 2017 track called A. But most of you are probably wondering why Fetty would still be beefing with the guys from his hood after 2 years of being mainstream. Well, Fetty's pride started to act up. He thought he did nothing but good for his city, did everything he could to help as many people as possible, and they still were not happy. He said in 2017 he started to wake up and realize how messed up his life was.
Like 2017, that shit was like a different year for me. You feel me? Like all jokes aside, like I was a little fucked up that year, man. Like I was, you see, I started number chasing. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm done. It's over. Fetty Wap is over with. Like.
Fetty was scrambling to get his finances in order. He had to clean house, downsize his team, and make sure he doesn't go broke. He looked at Nate. He started to question what he even did for him in the first place. Nate gets paid before Fetty does. So he needed to assess if he was actually helping his career. Literally since 2017, Fetty hasn't been on good terms with the man who pays him and has to approve every song, every show, every brand deal, literally everything he does. How can a career progress from there? Well, it can. By 2018, everyone forgot about Fetty Wap. Granted, most of this happened behind closed doors. People have very fond memories of him. He didn't go out sad, he didn't embarrass himself. He just kind of faded away and nobody really asked any questions.
I fell off musically by being popular, but I built myself to be able to bring myself back up.
Despite spending money recklessly, Fetty prides himself on being very good with his money. But the charges he was found guilty on strongly suggest that it wasn't just his music money that kept him rich all these years. In October of 2021, Fetty Wap was arrested after he got off stage at Rolling Loud in New York. He was charged with conspiracy to distribute and possess controlled substances. The press release showed that the officers seized 16 kilograms of cocaine, 2 kilograms of heroin, numerous fentanyl pills, 2 9mm handguns, a rifle, a .40 caliber pistol, and ammunition. Maxwell, along with 5 others, allegedly trafficked more than 100 kilos of opioids, including fentanyl, heroin, cocaine, and crack, from the West Coast and sold the deadly drugs in New Jersey and across Long Island, officials said. Now this is big-time drug dealing, not just some small operation. However, a couple weeks later, he got out on a $500,000 bond. It was a big story for sure, but I feel a lot of his mainstream audience didn't even know about this. Plus, he went right out and did a bunch of podcasts, interviews, and went on a press tour for his 2021 album, The Butterfly Effect. This album slipped totally under the radar because it had no hits on it. Fast forward in summer of 2022, his bond was revoked after allegedly threatening to end someone while pointing a strap at them on a FaceTime call, so he was arrested again. In August, he pled guilty to 1 count of intent to distribute controlled substances, including cocaine, heroin, and fentanyl. He still is yet to be sentenced, but he's facing a minimum of 5 years. But the biggest question everyone wants answered: why? Is this a setup? Is he actually a kingpin drug lord? Why didn't he just make music? Well, I obviously don't know anything about the streets, but I did find a clip explaining the mentality a little bit.
I'm sure Fetty could still get $20,000 a show, but that ain't enough for the lifestyle he created. Can't keep up. So you like, I'm gonna take my last, I'm gonna put it here. I got my little cousin them, my little homie them. Shit, I don't gotta touch this shit. I'm gonna make a play, buy some bags, put these niggas on. We got straps, we good. And that fast, you're in organized crime.
People assume that Fetty was getting money in the streets, and that's why he didn't need to keep making music. Maybe that's true. Maybe all the beefs with the guys in Patterson was not actually about music, popularity, and jealousy. Maybe something a little bit deeper and darker. Maybe Fetty Wap is just not who we expected him to be. Or maybe he's being set up. Which in that case, maybe his management is the reason why his career spiraled. They never believed he would be bigger than Trap Queen, and he had to fight to prove himself to his own team. Then when he made multiple hits, his pride got in the way of advancing any further. Maybe his own ego got in the way, and he just simply did not want to be famous. In 1 year, he made enough money to last him a lifetime, and maybe he was okay with that. Just wanted to focus on being a normal person, just like you and me. Lil Pump recently dropped an album and nobody noticed. As of today, it has 2.3 million streams on Spotify, or roughly 1,536 equivalent album sales in 1 month. Hip-hop fans have been high-key preying on Pump's downfall for a long time. But it was something that happened on March 22nd, 2020, where his career reached the point of no return. And as we go through all of the events that led up to that very specific moment, you won't be surprised why Lil Pump is where he is today. Mazzy Garcia was that kid in school who was always in trouble, always fighting, always talking back to teachers, and getting kicked out of class. Yet somehow, he was considered charming and likable amongst his peers. His charisma and airheadedness made people think he's not a bad kid, maybe just a little misguided. Unfortunately, he didn't get on the right path during his years at Charles W. Flanagan High School, and would be expelled for inciting a riot. He actually got expelled from all public schools in South Florida. At the age of 15, he enrolled in Jaman Opportunity School, which is basically known as the school for bad kids. But he was also kicked out of there. He spent the rest of 2015 hanging around South Florida with his friend Omar, aka Smoke Perp, who was an aspiring rapper with a little bit of buzz on SoundCloud. Pump would appear in his videos from time to time, but he was never meant to be a rapper. He would freestyle a little bit, but never took it seriously. One day in early 2016, Perp forced Pump to record his first song, titled 30s. From here, he spent most of his time posting funny videos on social media. Rapping was kind of a side hobby for him since Perp was the one who was getting buzz. He was kind of just along for the ride. SoundCloud rap as a whole exploded to new heights in 2016, with artists like Kodak Black, Lil Yachty, XXXTentacion, and Lil Uzi Vert reaching mainstream attention. And underground music media outlets such as No Jumper and Lyrical Lemonade were growing in subscriber counts rapidly. Double check and make sure you're subscribed real quick. Might as well hit the like button too. Drink water. The perfect storm of SoundCloud culture hit just at the right time for Perp and Pump. March of 2016, Chicago music video producer Cole Bennett gets his first viral music video with Famous Dex. Hit him with it. 1 month later, Cole does the very first Lyrical Lemonade live show. He booked Lil Uzi Vert as the headliner, and it was Uzi's first show ever in Chicago. Thousands attended. It generated a lot of local hype, and the recap clips of the show were bringing a lot of views to the Lyrical Lemonade YouTube channel. Cole knew he had to maintain the quality uploads and work with buzzing artists if he wanted his channel to build momentum. He got in contact with Smoke Perp and made the 20-hour drive from Chicago to Miami. This is where the iconic Ski Mask video was born, where Lil Pump had a massive run in his mouth. Cole thought Pump was hilarious, and they became good friends. The Ski Mask video was posted conveniently one day after the iconic XXL Freshman Freestyle video. 3 million views in 1 week, and it had kids all over the world hunting through the depths of SoundCloud to find more underground gems. Also at the time, Adam 22's No Jumper YouTube channel was certified as the place to go to for underground rap. He was generating buzz through his interviews with X, Suicide Boys, Puya, Maxo Cream, Lil Yachty, and many others. Smoke Perp was buzzing and seemed to be next up from the underground scene. He was doing mini tours around the country, generating hype on SoundCloud just behind the XXL Freshman guys. He got in with Cole Bennett at the perfect time and was embraced by Adam 22. You can't find an old video of Perp without Pump in it. They were often associated together, almost like a duo. The more Smoke Perp grew, the more opportunities came to Pump. But Pump didn't have the same opportunities that all of you have to grow as an independent artist, because today, we have Indie Amplify. Indie Amplify is the one-stop shop for all of you independent artists out there trying to build a career in the music industry, and I want to thank them for sponsoring this video. Need promotion? Navigate to the promotional tab and check out the multiple packages they offer, including marketing campaigns for Spotify, TikTok, YouTube, and SoundCloud. Get those views up. Need a feature on one of your songs? Just click on the Features tab and browse through the hundreds of artists that could jump on your track. Find one you like, click on Book Now, and provide all the necessary details. It's as easy as that. No more getting left on red, no more sketchy transactions. You can even integrate your music into your favorite creators' content. Click on the Content Creator tab and you can get YouTube reaction videos, TikTok sound integrations, and IG shoutouts from influencers to professional athletes. Now let's say you're a creator. Sign up to become an amplifier and you could be the one getting paid to do some valuable promotion. Indie Amplify offers many more things, including music reviews, graphic designers, consulting, engineering, production, videography, beats, and even educational resources. Everything you need to get closer to becoming a full-time artist. Also, Indie Amplify is giving away $1,000 in cash to 3 lucky people and $1,000 in store credit to 2 others. All you have to do is follow Indie Amplify on Instagram, sign up to become an amplifier, and list your services. The contest goes from now until January 30th. Winners announced on the following day, January 31st. Use my link in the description to sign up today. Thanks, Indie Amplify. 2017 was truly an iconic year for Lil Pump. Probably the craziest blow-up of all time. All of 2016, he was known as Perp's pill-popping best friend, posting videos of him doing not safe for work things on Twitter, and just casually dropping music. But 2017, Pump decided he was going to release music more consistently and give the music career a shot. Him and Perp would spend a lot of their time in LA. Most aspiring artists, especially at that time since there was a very active scene, would temporarily or permanently move out to LA. Cole Bennett and Lil Pump linked up out there to shoot the D-Rose music video. It was also the first time he was featured on the No Jumper YouTube channel. The video for D-Rose dropped and got around 500,000 views from the start, becoming his biggest song to date. His SoundCloud was growing very consistently. The song Movin' racked up 1 million streams in just a couple of weeks. It was safe to say that Pump was starting to build his own fan base separate from Perp. But the biggest thing he ever did was about to happen. Around this time, he signed a social media deal with the company called The Lights Global. The founder, Dooney Battle, was responsible for blowing up the Juju on the Beat trend in 2016, and he was very well versed in how social media was going to change the music industry. He saw the potential in Lil Pump and knew he could be a big star. This is when he had around 100,000 Instagram followers. The social media agency would push his music through their network of various influencers on social media, accumulating about 160 million followers, as well as helped him with growing his fan base. They would encourage him to keep posting these wild videos and pictures on social media, and they helped get those moments more attention. The No Jumper Tour, 6 dates down the West Coast. And luckily Adam22 was vlogging the whole thing because they were about to show the world who Lil Pump was. Filming each other drinking lean and taking Xanax, staying up until 5 in the morning only to drive multiple hours the next day for the next show. The No Jumper Tour was a drug-induced farce, and the fans couldn't get enough of it. Die-hard fans of Pump, Perp, and No Jumper were getting put on the vlog during meet and greets, showing that despite the celebrity image they displayed, they still did care about the fans. Half the viewers watching on YouTube either felt inspired and proud to watch these young kids chase their dreams, and the other half were like, how is this 16-year-old with pink hair taking Xanax and headlining a tour? In fact, one of the biggest videos on No Jumper to this day is this tour vlog where Lil Pump spends thousands of dollars on designer clothing at the mall, and then takes it back to the $30 Motel 6 where he's sleeping for the night. Fuck J. Cole. A meme that was started in Lil Pump's comment section for literally no reason. So Pump ran with it, trolling J. Cole because it made people mad and got his engagement up. The new generation of rappers didn't feel like they owed respect for lyrical rappers or classic hip-hop enthusiasts, especially when they didn't get the mutual respect. And considering the music that was coming out from new rappers these days, it was pretty clear that these new rappers had no intentions of trying to write poetic masterpieces. But J. Cole kept the spirit of traditional hip-hop even through the 2010s, so dissing him made rap fans mad. But it also made the rebellious kids love Lil Pump even more. People who loved him and hated him started following, streaming his music, and blowing him up. And they were going back to the tour vlogs to get an idea of who he was. I don't think this diss track ever came out, but it got the attention it needed on social media, so it didn't have to be released. He spent the summer of 2017 working on his debut album, Lil Pump. Pump stripped down rap music to be as simple as it could get. Really loud, overblown 808s, and extremely generic lyrics. Usually had a cool or simplistic melody in there too. He came up with simple hooks that would get stuck in your head, even if you hated it. His music was a guilty pleasure. It went hard at a party. It wasn't meant to do anything other than to get you turned. He even had the in-your-face rebel attitude to go along with it. That's why he caused so much controversy. The gatekeepers already hated melodic rap, which was slowly taking over since 2011. Then they came up with the derogatory term mumble rap in 2016, in which Lil Pump became the poster child for. Lil Pump was the true downfall of rap in the minds of the gatekeepers. To them, he extracted all of the beautiful artistic and poetic qualities of hip-hop and glorified all of the negative aspects of the rap game. But he wasn't just a rebel. He was funny as hell. I mean, his lyrics were so ridiculous you could get a great laugh at the pure stupidity, while also still going hard. I sold crack on PayPal. I've been selling bricks since elementary. My grandma selling Loud Pack. Lil Pump f***ed your mother, then I rob your brother. I mean, don't tell me you and your friends don't want to shout, me and my grandma take meds while getting lit and having a great time at a party.
Don't shoot.
The rap game is filled with cool guys. Lil Pump was just a rambunctious kid, full of charisma and is having fun. How could you not love him? But to go along with the music, he changed the game for Instagram. Social media was already the new way to be a poppin' artist. There was one thing Pump knew how to do, it was go viral. And like I said before, his social media agency that he was signed to was probably helping him a ton with this. Pump had 700,000 followers and people didn't know who he was. And I say that with air quotes because now to get 700,000 followers, you probably need a Billboard charting song or at least a viral TikTok song. Like back then, you could still kind of fly under the radar while having a massive fan base. His age had a lot to do with this as well. Almost all of his music press at the time had to do with him being a 16-year-old Xanax rap sensation. Really young kids have an advantage when they blow up because the youth can directly relate to them. And we all idolize people in our youth. We look up to people maybe more than we should. So looking up to someone that's the same age as you is kind of like being the popular kid at the school that everyone wants to chill with. Except when it's a rapper or social media personality, you're the popular kid at every school in the country. Maybe even global. But he also gained his own clout from people sharing his videos of him doing ridiculous shit. His Instagram was basically a meme compilation or a people doing stupid things compilation. This is a good thing, but also a bad thing, because a lot of people were treating him more as a way to get a good laugh and then go on with their day. But he was pursuing music, and a decent amount of people may not be interested in the music. They just want to watch you say stupid things on Instagram. $350,000 was the advance that he got for his 5-album deal with Warner Records. With almost 1 million followers on Instagram, hundreds of thousands of subscribers on YouTube, and a little bit of mainstream attention, it was the perfect time for him to drop a banger. Gucci Gang. August of 2017, the song dropped on SoundCloud and was instantly a hit for his fan base. He had been saying Gucci Gang on social media for months at this point, so it was already kind of an inside joke. It quickly racked up millions of streams on SoundCloud, and it was the lead single for his debut album. The Lil Pump self-titled album drops October 2017, debuts number 3 on the Hot 200 and sells 45,000 copies first week, which is actually really good for somebody with a little bit of Instagram clout and allegedly terrible music. But the Gucci Gang music video is where things would go crazy. The video drops and gains 6 million views in one day, which is still even insane numbers today. Featuring a whole-ass tiger and Lil Pump looking like a 7-Eleven Slurpee, it was reaction fuel for YouTubers. The song got stuck in your head with a repetitive hook and a monotone delivery. One listen and you know all the words. Debuting at number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100, it was the shortest song to ever go top 10 on the Billboard in 42 years. At this point, you know why Lil Pump is controversial. The only reason why Gucci Gang was different is because this was his biggest song. It was on the radio, exposing him to a more mainstream audience, and more people who had absolutely no idea about the state of rap music used this song as what the genre had culminated to. By the end of the year, his shows got bigger, his money got longer, and did he start to calm down now that he achieved the highest level of fame? He was able to finesse his way out of the record deal he signed with Warner just a few months ago, because when he signed it, he was only 17 years old. There's a certain due process that they need to legally adhere to, getting legal guardians involved, the courts, and all kinds of nonsense that they surprisingly skipped. And all kinds of checks and balances to make sure that what they're doing is actually legal since they're doing business with a minor. We always hear horror stories about labels taking advantage of artists, signing them when they're desperate and not allowing them for a renegotiation later on. The label got Pump too. None of us are surprised. But when Pump blew up, he lawyered up and then pulled the Uno reverse card, allowing him to get out of his 360 deal that he signed just a few months back. Pump literally finessed the label, blew up, and became independent. Yes, now he owns the damn masters to Gucci Gang and all the rest of his music, which is probably why he's still rich today. A music industry bidding war happened. Everyone wanted to sign Pump. He was the hottest artist in 2018. Labels were offering 7-figure deals, and a few months later he would end up locking in an $8 million deal with Warner, the same label that he signed with first. And this was only for one album. This album, Harvard Dropout, which was already buzzing since he had been hyping it up. And at first people thought the one album deal was cap, but it wasn't. And actually to this day, Lil Pump is independent. 2018 was the year where literally every YouTube channel and late night show made a viral video making fun of Lil Pump. Even academics did it. J. Cole also dropped a song called 1985 in which he had a whole verse that seemed to be a diss at Lil Pump, responding to the J. Cole hype from the previous year. It technically wasn't a diss directly at him, but it definitely applied. Naturally, Lil Pump could care less about what J. Cole had to say, or anyone for that matter. He kept the rebellious attitude and kept the bangers flowing. To all of our surprise, though, they had a sit-down conversation where they interviewed each other, and it was actually very nice. Esquete was the next Billboard charting song of the year, quickly followed by Welcome to the Party and what fans think is Pump's best rapping. Both of these songs were racking up hundreds of millions of views, but the staying power was low. It was like something that his millions of followers wanted to watch once or twice and then forget about it. Plus, 2018 is the beginning of the oversaturation era, and with Tekashi 6ix9ine rising in popularity, there was only so much brain damage rap hip-hop fans could handle. Then we had the untimely passing of XXXTentacion, which was a massive shock to the world. He was on the same level of popularity as Pump, as they were both XXL freshmen that year, but X's fanbase was way more loyal, and I think the rap game respected his artistry a lot more. Hip-hop fans suffering a loss like that, and even Pump, who was friends with him, made it difficult for people to want to rock with Pump at the time. Plus, I mentioned 6ix9ine before. If you thought Lil Pump was crazy and out of control, 6ix9ine was 10 times worse. Beefs with literally every rapper, gang violence, shootings, kidnappings. I mean, you name it, 6ix9ine was involved in it every week. Watching some young rapper scream Esquete and smash a hotel room just wasn't really crazy anymore for rap fans. I think Pump realized this, and he had to try to innovate where he could. He got arrested for driving without a license and then lied and told everyone he was going to jail for a couple of months. There's no proof that he actually did go to jail, but you'll see from here on out that his antics are starting to get a little bit tiresome, and fans are starting to easily dismiss it. The song Drug Addicts drops, in which they swore would break the internet, since Pump got the Charlie Sheen cameo in the music video. And again, 100 million views, but didn't chart high. It just seemed weird because Pump was telling everyone how he was quitting Xanax and lean all 2018. To drop this song just felt like he was moving backwards. The Harvard Dropout album was supposed to be released in August, but it didn't. Instead, we got I Love It. A cultural moment for sure. Probably still one of the best music videos I've seen in a long time. Kanye and Lil Pump, an iconic duo we could have never expected, linked up and made a Billboard smash. This would be Pump's second most successful song to date. At this point, people who hate Lil Pump can't deny that he now has another song they're bumping in the club. This would have been the perfect time to drop his album. The Harvard Dropout meme was already a year old. He was on Billboard. He probably could have maybe even outsold his last project. But for some reason, he didn't drop. I guess they thought the Kanye single would continue the hype for a little while. 2018 was definitely a good year for Pump. None of the music he dropped lasted long, but him and 6ix9ine were the only rappers who could consistently get over 100 million views on a song. So for now, it was good. It wasn't until late February 2019 that the Harvard Dropout project would finally release. 5 months after I Love It charted, which in the rap game, especially the Lil Pump rap game, is an eternity. The meme had totally died out. Rap fans were exhausted from the nonsense that Pump and 6ix9ine were bringing to social media. Plus, DaBaby was rising in popularity, who brought some of that rebel energy, but backed it up with way better music. Pump's once charismatic, teenage punk energy turned into a famous rapper doing annoying publicity stunts to stay relevant. The album sold 45K first week, same as his first album, so yeah, that $8 million that the label spent on Pump is gonna take a long time to make back. It's safe to say this album was a flop, and everyone that hated him were pointing fingers. See, we told you. The general consensus was that Lil Pump was falling off, which I admit was a little premature. I mean, we all know he's not an album artist, so what did we really expect to happen? However, Pump was still traveling the world, doing massive shows, screaming Esquete, and seemed to keep his spirits high. He didn't drop any more singles for the rest of the year. He did a couple features, and he actually shifted his focus a little bit to Latin markets. He dropped a few songs with Latin artists that were getting some decent traction, especially the song Coronel, which is the biggest song he has released in the past 2 years. Naturally, Americans only pay attention to what's going on in their own country. He was still getting that worldwide bag, and now that he was independent after that one album release, you're keeping most of the money that you get. You don't really owe anything to a label, so your songs don't have to go that crazy to make a ton of money. He would only get attention from USA fans when he made a wild tweet or had another viral IG live. But it seemed more desperate than ever, and a lot of look at me energy from Lil Pump. 2020 was... Pump was making some changes. The desperation for attention was getting out of hand. He wasn't following up these posts with good music either. However, in early 2020, according to his manager Dooney Battle, he had every major label still wanting to sign him. He even claims that Pump had an offer for $5 million, in which Pump denied the money. He wanted to stay independent. Most people probably thought that he was the type of guy to rush for another payday to fix his insane spending habits, but he trusted his team, and that they would have another big song. And he was famous enough and rich enough and had enough followers where there wasn't anything a label could do that he couldn't do on his own. And I think he made the right decision, but unfortunately still to this day, he hasn't had that big song. The point of no return for Pump, in my eyes. The point where the desperation hit an all-time high. Not him shaving his eyebrows and claiming he was gonna make rock music, not the post in the sports bra. The point in which I realized that the rebellious punk wasn't actually there anymore, and all we are left with is a celebrity needing another payday, was when this video dropped. The Dobre Brothers. Hit It If You Know You Lit, featuring Lil Pump. No rapper, no matter how much they're paying, should have done this. This song is horrible, even by Lil Pump standards. This is the least cool thing, the least rebel, the least punk thing you could ever do. This is worse than doing a song with Jake Paul. I mean, why? They better have paid you $1 million, bro. You can see it in Pump's eyes. He knows he shouldn't be there. He thought they were lit YouTubers, and when he showed up immediately, he was even like, damn, this is not gonna be a good look. He's barely looking at the camera. He's not dancing. They had to speed up the edits to make it seem like he was actually moving and dancing around. He can't even look at the kids around him. A few months later, Trump called him Little Pimp, and he went on this whole I support Trump wave, which definitely wasn't a good look, and a cry for attention. I mean, sure, he could have been genuine about it, but we know Pump has a history of doing whatever it takes to get some press, and he has never, ever discussed an even ounce of politics, so why would he start now? A bunch of lazy releases with basically no marketing ensued for the rest of 2020, with some Latin records sprinkled in there. From here, there pretty much wasn't anything Pump could do to get attention. And in 2021, he didn't even try. He dropped one English record and one Latin record, both only satisfying what's left of his core fan base. Then this last full album he dropped with Ronnie J, no promotion, no tweet, no nothing. Pump is the last person that can do this. But why? Maybe he's trying to get out of his deal with the Lights Global. Maybe there's stuff behind the scenes going on that we might find out about later or in a few years. Saying somebody's career is dead is definitely extreme, and most people think he will never come back. Obviously, the 17-year-old rebel is long gone. He needs to grow up a little, and I think he has. I truly do think he could have another hot moment. Not to the heights of where he was, but I think he could have another fun record, as long as the marketing isn't some lame publicity stunt and the music is just objectively good. Truthfully, him being independent is what allows him to chill, and his old music will be able to generate him a lot of money for years to come. A hot Latin record or a decent record every year should do the job. I always thought Pump had good intentions. Just a 16, 17-year-old kid who was making it happen, having fun. I mean, ultimately, he still got really rich. He still does have people who care about him and love him all over the world. And he still does have a ton of opportunity, even despite his most recent album flopping. But I mean, think about it. If Soulja Boy is still able to have some hot moments 13 years after his peak, I wouldn't be surprised if Lil Pump could figure out the same thing. And if you want to check out how Soulja Boy maintained his relevance over the years, you can check out this video. A successful rap career is extremely hard to obtain, yet very easy to destroy. One mistake, one bad album, one tweet could start a ripple effect that leads a rapper to fade into irrelevance. Today we are going to look at the stories of rappers whose careers dwindled for reasons they likely could have prevented, starting with Superstar Pride, a rapper who had the fastest and most ironic rise and fall of all time. Many of you heard Superstar Pride briefly in 2023 when his song Painting Pictures went viral. However, it wasn't necessarily viral for the song, but rather his obscure mullet-style haircut. The crazy part about this track is that it was originally uploaded in 2020 and went unnoticed.
Mama, don't worry, you raised the...
Then 2 years later, when he uploaded the live mic performance video to Painting Pictures, it also fell on deaf ears. It wasn't until 5 months after the music video dropped, February of 2023, that Pride casually created a TikTok, posted the music video snippet, and it blew up. The first clip he posted got 10 million views. The second one did over 40 million views. Bro got the Sonic haircut. Bro looked like he got screamed at. Bro's haircut was 50% off. Nobody was talking about the song. just his hair. Then a viral trend emerged of people imitating his video with something ridiculous taped to the back of their head, which could not be outdone when someone managed to get an entire airplane strapped to their head. The opening line, "Mama Don't Worry," was also getting stuck in people's heads, which led to the song amassing 160 million streams on Spotify and over 30 million on YouTube. Painting Pictures shot up to number 25 on the Billboard Hot 100, and every major label got into a bidding war trying to sign him, but he sided with Steve Stout and his independent structured music label, United Masters.
And he wanted like $5 million from a label. And when they didn't give him $5 million, they were offering him $3 million. He's like, if it ain't $5 million, I'm not signing it.
The basic control. I've worked in radio for some.
Pride let his ego get the best of him, refusing $3 million for wanting $5 million. 3 weeks after refusing a record deal, he was arrested for murder.
A Mississippi rapper is charged with murder in Panola County. 20-year-old Kadarius Pride, known as Superstar Pride.
The victim, Marcus Wheatley, was Pride's barber, likely responsible for his signature hairstyle. Wheatley's grandmother said Pride stormed into their house and gunned him down in the backyard. Currently, Pride is being held without bond and doesn't have a trial set. Nobody knows what happened or why it happened. But a rapper going viral for his ridiculous haircut in February, then allegedly murdering his barber a few months later after denying $3 million is the most insane self-sabotage I have ever seen. And if you thought Pride's story was a poetically ironic form of self-sabotage, meet Chance the Rapper, who once famously said, "I met Kanye West, I am never going to fail," but still managed to fail. Chance the Rapper's 2013 mixtape Acid Rap was universally praised by hip-hop fans. His raspy voice and sprinkle of soul combined with his youthful, positive energy made this project a masterpiece. Tracks like Cocoa Butter Kisses and Favorite Song have aged like fine wine. But Chance was in no rush to capitalize on his buzz. He worked on his next mixtape for 3 years. He had the whole city of Chicago rooting for him and garnered support from the biggest artists in the world, including Kanye West, who featured Chance on his 2016 album, The Life of Pablo. Chance's part on Ultralight Beam is one of the biggest highlights of the project. Coloring Book was his 2016 mixtape that served as the perfect follow-up to Acid Rap. Chance's cadence, soulful lyrics, and euphoric beat selection was unlike anyone else in hip-hop at the time, especially on tracks No Problem and All We Got. He earned a Grammy for Best New Artist, and some people even believed he could give Drake a run for his money, but then he blew it. And I'm gonna blow you away when you hear about today's sponsor. Lately, I've been obsessed with fantasy sports, and that's where today's sponsor comes in, Underdog Fantasy. Underdog is the easiest way to play fantasy sports, but not just football. You can make picks on baseball, basketball, hockey, UFC, and more. Just pick whether you think your favorite player's stats will be higher or lower, and you can make big money. You can make your own entry with as few as 2 picks and 3x your money, or go bigger to win up to 20x. Right now, Underdog is giving new customers a special pick for Trevor Lawrence. All he needs to do is have 1 yard to win. Here are my picks for week 13 of the NFL season, and if it hits, I'll 20x my money. I also have a special promo. Underdog is offering new users a $100 deposit match. Underdog's pick'em games are available in 30 plus states, including California, Texas, and even Canada. All you have to do is click the link below or download Underdog via the App Store and use code PatrickCC. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code PatrickCC for a first deposit match up to $100. It makes the NFL even more interesting for me, so rep your team and make your picks with Underdog. Starting with a track called Groceries, a corny TikTok song that was heavily marketed on Triller to capitalize on the "Whoa" dance craze. The song went viral, but when fans criticized it on Twitter, his responses would put a nasty stain on his reputation. People have different tastes and that's fine, but the way you're talking to fans who have been with you since 10 days is disappointing, and that ego reflects on the quality of your newest music. Eat it. You are a spoiled child who thinks artists are making music for you. I never intended for you to find or like anything I made. If I knew you existed, I would have tried my hardest to keep you from being able to enjoy it. Now go eat a dick again. Then Chance over and over again told the fan to eat a dick. This interaction was a far cry from the positive and wholesome Chance the Rapper fans loved. Then he dropped his debut album, The Big Day, on July 26, 2019. The Big Day was a reference to his wedding day, which he was planning during the creation of this album. Chance mentions his wife and family over 20 times on the record, which became a huge meme. And while his intentions were pure, the album simply was not good.
I am genuinely feeling like a strong 0 on
this record.
Fans hated the project as well, and were quick to let him know. On Twitter, Chance would block anyone who poked fun at him or said anything negative about the album. With the influx of hate, he responded with extreme measures. I'm getting this crazy feeling that people want me to end it. These desperate tweets combined with his lazy album would lead to him canceling his 32-city arena tour, saying that he was instead going to focus on spending time with his family, which again sounds understandable, but it was a lie. The tour was actually canceled due to, quote, historically low ticket sales. According to his now ex-manager Pat Corcoran, Chance fired his manager, then blamed him for fan disappointment in the big day and underwhelming fan support for its associated tour. Corcoran would go on to file a lawsuit in November of 2020 against Chance the Rapper for breach of contract, stating that he is owed over $2.5 million in reimbursed expenses for supporting and promoting Chance's career, an additional $3 million for unpaid commissions, and 15% of Chance's net profit across all business earnings. The lawsuit also revealed that Chance started working on his album in February of 2019, which was only 5 months before it was released. His manager knew there was not enough time for the creative process that was involved in releasing an album. Chance's recording efforts were compromised by unproductive and undisciplined studio sessions, procrastination, and lackadaisical effort, which explains why there are terrible lyrics throughout this record. If you blink it, you might miss it. You gotta click it or tick it. Life is short as a midget, but mine's a little LeBron. And how could we forget?
Peanut butter jelly with a baseball bat. Peanut butter jelly with a peanut butter jelly. Y'all ain't ready for the jelly, it'll break y'all back.
Chance let his own ego squander his career. He couldn't just admit that he made his fans wait 3 years for a bad album that was rushed out in 5 months, and the way he responded to them on Twitter was just childish. From here, all his hype died. On the other hand, if he stepped out of the limelight to genuinely focus on his family, that's respectable. Maybe that's something we should celebrate rather than see as a downfall. But Chance wasn't the only rapper whose Twitter fingers started their downfall. In the case of OG Mako, he pretty much forced everyone to hate him because of his tweets. In 2014, OG Mako had a ton of momentum after his song You Guessed It went viral on Vine. This track was unlike anything we had ever heard at the time. Before mumble rap took over, we had OG Mako screaming insane ad-libs over the most simplistic, hard-hitting trap beat. He had a darker, more rock-like aesthetic and even called himself not a rapper, but a rock star. The song reached number 90 on the Billboard Hot 100, and he could even be credited with inspiring many rappers after him. It definitely inspired Keith Ape, who just released a track called Itji Ma that sounded suspiciously similar. Just listen to them at the same time. OG Mako tweeted, "I'm aware of the Koreans that mocked me and took my sauce. I'm not impressed. I'm not inspired. I think it's kinda lame. To each his own." Mako even accused Beyonce of stealing from him in her 7-Eleven music video. If you look at them side by side, he may have a point, but Mako was developing a reputation of a bitter, egotistical rapper who complains on the internet. He randomly took shots at his collaborators and label mates, the Migos. Mako felt the need to tell everyone that Skippa da Flippa invented the dab dance that the Migos were using in the song Pipe It Up, to which the Migos replied, "The Flippa man is Migo family. OG Mako, let's see you set a trend." Then Mako said, "Half the rap game has already bit one of my flows or ad-libs. Let me see them album sales." Meanwhile, OG Mako has never had a gold album, let alone the dozens of platinum records the Migos have. Then he went after Lil Uzi when XXL tweeted, "Lil Uzi is rap's newest rock star." He tweeted, "Dudes don't just become rock stars. Somebody gotta show you the way. Stop playing with my name," with a picture of Uzi at an OG Mako show on stage behind him. Then Academic said, "You paved the way for Uzi?" Then Mako replied with dozens of tweets over the next hour trying to explain why he is so influential and Uzi was stealing his sauce. He also randomly took shots at Future. "I love Future, but I also understand Future has destroyed countless lives by making it cool to be a drug addict. People looking up to loser attitudes because this generation is afraid to strive for anything. It's y'all's fault all this lame ass shit is possible." Again, he may have a point here, but fans replied to Mako calling him a hypocrite since he raps about the same stuff. But Mako claimed he was dumbing down his music to blow up. You guessed it, was not luck. It wasn't an accident. I made the dumbest song I possibly could on a beat full of bass and knew it would blow. I manipulated over 40 million minds and counting based on the exact same principles that I'm preaching. Who's more qualified to say this? Now, Mako has always made more conscious, focused music with substantial lyrics.
Like Jason, Michael, Freddie, and Eddie Amin after your civil syllable war, niggas should have
But a lot of his music was just mediocre, boring trap.
Get the cat, get the cat. Get the bag, get the bag. Hey, get the cat, get the cat.
Also, if he claims to be such a genius, why wasn't he able to do it again? During his brief moment of popularity, Mako consistently released music on SoundCloud, but nothing sounded anywhere near as innovative, fun, or interesting as you guessed it. His downfall was easily due to dissing rappers for absolutely no reason, non-stop complaining on Twitter, and trying so hard to take credit for the success of anyone else. Was he an innovator? Absolutely. But he spent too much time talking about how influential he was on Twitter rather than trying to create a legacy to maintain his career. But what happens when the reason a rapper blows up is the same exact reason why they had a downfall? On July 26, 2016, just a few weeks after his 16th birthday, SoundCloud rapper TK and 5 others conspired to rob a 17-year-old drug dealer, Zachary Belote. The crew broke into the house around 10 p.m., and the robbery went wrong, which led to the drug dealer's friend and roommate, Ethan Walker, being fatally shot. TK admitted during the police interrogation that he was not the shooter, but was there looking for drugs and money. He had been released from custody pending the trial and was placed on house arrest with an ankle monitor. For the next 7 months, TK sat in his room, making music, releasing it on SoundCloud, and built up a following. With no money for a lawyer and quickly approaching the hearing for the murder, TK infamously tweeted that he was tired of house arrest and the police were going to have to hunt him down. While on the run from the police, TK was very active on social media. Fans posted pictures and videos of him in public. But TK and his friends were desperate for money. He robbed a 65-year-old man named Skip Pepe at gunpoint in Arlington's Craven Park. He then attempted to rob a cameraman named Mark Anthony Saldivar in a Chick-fil-A parking lot. Mark began screaming for help as he tried to escape. Then TK hit him with the car before getting out, fatally shooting him and driving off. San Antonio police connected TK to the murder due to surveillance footage and posted wanted signs around the city. TK saw this as a marketing opportunity, posting pictures and videos with the wanted sign. He then dropped a song called The Race on SoundCloud, which essentially told the story of him being a fugitive, robbing and killing people while on the run from the police. After filming and releasing the music video to The Race, TK was captured by U.S. Marshals in Elizabeth, New Jersey. The shockingly true story led to the 17-year-old exploding in virality. The Race secured hundreds of millions of views on YouTube, reached number 44 on the Billboard Hot 100, and hashtag #FreeTK became a movement supported by some of the biggest rappers in the game. He even signed a $700,000 record deal, but none of it mattered because he was behind bars. And in 2019, he was given a 55-year sentence after being found guilty of murder and 3 counts of aggravated robbery. Obviously, TK's downfall could have been prevented if he simply did not commit these heinous acts. But as bad as it sounds, none of us would even know about him if he didn't actually rob and murder people, then make songs about it while mocking the police on the run from the law. Rap fans glamorize this type of behavior because the music is, a lot of the time, violent and derogatory. So if you're gonna rap about it, fans want you to be about it. But the fans won't be the ones sitting in a jail cell. Pooh Shiesty is an example of someone who was heavily rewarded for his violent music. His song Back in Blood, featuring Lil Durk, was essentially a song about killing your enemies. This track would reach number 37 on the Billboard Hot 100 and secured himself as a promising new talent in hip-hop. But at this peak of his new career, he got arrested. Pooh Shiesty and his crew were at the King of Diamonds strip club in Miami, Florida. Allegedly, Shiesty had money taken from him, which led to major commotion in the club. Security acted accordingly and escorted Pooh Shiesty out of the club, but he forced his way back into the club and accidentally fired a handgun at a working security guard. Pooh Shiesty turned himself in on June 8, 2021, and had his hearing the following day, where he would be denied bond. He would later be sentenced to 5 years and 3 months in prison on April 20th, 2022. He could have easily just left the club and let others go handle the money situation, but maybe he felt the need to live up to his Back in Blood lyrics. I got my own fire, don't need security in the club. If you haven't noticed, rappers and shootings seem to be a very common trend that leads to their downfall. Tory Lanez is no different. However, many people still question if he is actually guilty of being the shooter. In 2020, Tory Lanez was at the peak of his career. His feature on Jack Harlow's What's Poppin' reached number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 while objectively being the best verse. His album, The New Toronto 3, debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200. He broke the record for the most live viewers in an Instagram Live during his quarantine radio show during the pandemic. However, on July 12, 2020, he was arrested on a felony gun charge while out with Megan Thee Stallion after attending a small party at Kylie Jenner's house. The public was also informed that Megan had cut her foot on broken glass. Then 3 days later, she changed her story to say that she was shot in the foot. Then 1 month later, she said this.
yes, this nigga Tory shot me. You shot me. And you got your publicists and your people going to these blogs lying and shit. Stop lying.
Social media immediately took Megan's side. Tory remained silent about the allegations, but responded with lyrics on his album Daystar. How the fuck you get shot in your foot and don't get no bones or tendons? How the fuck your team is trying to paint me as a whole menace? Delusional, like how that 1942 from Kylie House still got you talking crazy, as well as also rapping about why he hasn't been nearly as vocal as Meg. Think I'm finna talk about an open case for some likes? Tory Lanez was charged with 1 count of assault with a semi-automatic firearm and 1 count of carrying a loaded, unregistered firearm in October of 2020. Although Tory claimed he was being blackballed by the music industry, his career continued to thrive. He released 4 albums independently, which would all garner hundreds of millions of streams. He received praise from LeBron James as well as dozens of other mainstream acts. Fans believed if it wasn't for this case, he would have been toe-to-toe with the biggest rappers in the game. But once we finally got the information from this trial, we would end up with more questions than answers. On July 12, 2020, Tory Lanez, his bodyguard Megan Thee Stallion, and her friend Kelsey Harris were attending a small gathering at Kylie Jenner's house. Megan testified that she lied to the police about the glass, lied to doctors, and basically lied about the entire situation out of fear. Her news story was pretty simple. She said that they had an argument, she exited the car, Tory leaned out of the passenger side door, said, "Dance bitch," and shot her from 25 feet away in the back of the foot. Then Tory ran up to her apologizing, and she got back into the car so they could give her a ride home. The cops arrived when the neighbors reported the gunshots. Tory chose not to testify and defend himself, which he would later regret. Kelsey, Meg's friend, testified that Tory was trying to hook up with Kylie Jenner and Meg tried to convince him to leave the house. Meg was upset that Tory didn't want to leave, so she got into the car with Kelsey and drove almost all the way home before realizing she forgot her slipper and went back to Kylie's. They grabbed Tory the second time after Kylie allegedly told them to leave. In the car is when Tory admitted that he and Megan had been in a romantic relationship. Kelsey was shocked because Megan was the one who hooked up Tory and Kelsey in the first place. Kelsey also admitted that this was not the first time Meg had backdoored her when it came to men. Now we have a love triangle. And this is how the argument started. But Kelsey pleaded the fifth when it came to speaking about anything regarding the gun or shooting. The government offered her immunity, so she couldn't be charged with any crime even if she admitted to it. She still refused to speak. There was one witness, Sean Kelly, who saw the altercation from his balcony after being awoken by the arguing. Sean said he witnessed Kelsey get out from the backseat, open the front passenger door, and start physically fighting Megan in the front seat. He also said that the muzzle flash from the gun was closest to Kelsey. Much of his testimony was ignored because he couldn't identify the people by name since it was dark. He only said big man, small man, and 2 women. Nobody admitted to hearing the words dance bitch besides Megan. There was gunshot residue on Kelsey's hands and Tory's hands. Also after this night, Kelsey and Megan stopped being friends after being best friends for 7 years. When Tory was initially jailed, he called Kelsey and apologized multiple times to her. I know she's probably never ever gonna talk to me ever again, but bruh, I just want you to know, I was just so drunk. I don't even know what was going on. I'd never do some shit like that. Regardless, that's not gonna make anything right, and that's not gonna make my actions right. But I'm deeply sorry for that. I never even moved like that at all. People speculated Tory was apologizing for sleeping with both of the women and causing chaos. Others see this as an obvious admission of shooting the gun. Some people think it was Kelsey who was angry and shot Megan. Some people think Megan was the one who accidentally shot her own foot. Some people think that Kelsey pleading the fifth was her attempt to try to save both of them. But at the end of the day, the jury decided he was guilty, and because of that, Tory was sentenced to 10 years in prison. Famously said, "I have less compassion than the average human," and that couldn't be more true. If you become one of his enemies, 50 will embarrass you, troll you, and make your life much harder than it is. Today we are going to look at the stories of people who found their way on 50 Cent's bad side, starting with Mitchell Green, who had to give Fifth ownership of his house after getting caught stealing millions of dollars from him. If you didn't know, 50 Cent is not just a rapper. Curtis Jackson is a business tycoon. Sire Spirits is the name of Jackson's alcohol brand, which is the parent company of his world-renowned Branson Cognac. Now, cognac is only made in a very small area of France because of the very specific types of white grapes that naturally grow there. 50 doesn't speak French, nor does he know the nuances of what's going to make his cognac taste the best. So he hires his director of brand management, Mitchell Green, to communicate and purchase the fermented beverage from wholesalers in France. Mitchell Green is supposed to be operating in Sire Spirit's best interest, making sure their product is the best quality it can be. Little did they know, all he was interested in was filling his pockets with green. Mitchell Green found two perfect suppliers for Sire Spirits, Castelnau and Ragnaud. The French distillers agreed to supply cognac to Sire. However, Mitchell separately signed his own agreements with Castelnau and Ragnaud through his own LLC, Branch Consulting, which gave Green a commission, known as an agency fee, for each bottle of champagne or cognac sold to Sire Spirits. He also signed non-disclosure agreements with the distillers. These agreements were to fulfill the interest of Castelnau to the best of its abilities, and not sell or represent any other champagne to Sire Spirits besides Castelnau. So basically, while working for 50's company, he didn't try to find the best quality supplier in the best interest for the brand. He found a supplier that would pay him a little extra cash on the side. And for 2 years straight, Mitchell secured more than $2 million from the bogus agency fees. Green finally confessed to his schemes when someone threatened to reveal his misdeeds in an extortion plot. The liquor brand fired Green and took him to court. After being found guilty, a judge awarded more than $6 million to Sire Spirits in its legal battle with Green. 50 celebrated his victory with one of the nastiest trolls of all time. He set out to seize Green's assets, which included his home. And in a celebratory Instagram post, he wrote, "I think I'm gonna put epoxy floors in this place. I'm gonna keep it and his family pictures around, you know, as a theme for the place, LOL." This Instagram post is just one of the hundreds, thousands of posts he made to absolutely destroy an enemy. At this point, 50 Cent's Instagram trolls are a part of hip-hop culture, and anyone can catch a stray. Like this random guy on the street who was just enjoying the day.
That's why I tell kids not to use drugs. What the f*** are you listening to, Future?
Or Busta Rhymes. And the award for strongest neck in hip-hop goes to Busta Bus. Why Busta Rhymes opened his mouth like that for this little ass straw? Or Madonna, who posted this risque photo of herself on Instagram, to which he reposted and added, "Yo, this is the funniest shit. That's Madonna under the bed trying to do the like a virgin at 63. She shot out. She don't get her old ass up, LMFAO." He posted another photo of someone mocking the pop star. This the like a virgin 63 challenge, but Madonna didn't like that very much. She posted, "I guess your new career is getting attention by trying to humiliate others on social media. You're just jealous you won't look as good as me or have as much fun when you are my age. And because of this, we got an apology from 50 Cent, something you will not see again for the rest of this video." It seems like 50 has a soft spot for the ladies, besides Wendy Williams. He held absolutely nothing back towards her. Stay hydrated. But 50's been trolling long before Instagram. 13 years ago, he made a skit of him being rushed to the hospital after listening to Fat Joe's music.
It's Fat Joe's record. I listened to it. It hurt me.
This is 50 Cent. I just want to thank everybody for showing their support. And all the get well messages I got on this50.com. Yesterday, I listened to Fat Joe's record. It hurt me. And I told you people not to listen to his music.
To double down, he made this fake mixtape cover for Fat Joe's next release, Elephant in the Sand. But 50 and Fat Joe actually have some real history. The G-Unit vs. Terror Squad beef reached a boiling point at the 2005 VMAs when Fat Joe said this.
"I feel so safe tonight with all this police protection courtesy of G-Unit."
Then 50 Cent responded later on in the evening with some threats. This beef was so public, it actually cost Fat Joe $20 million. Fat Joe was supposed to be the first artist ever to collaborate with the Jordan brand because of his love for the sneakers and his close personal relationship with Michael Jordan. I met with him 6 times going over designs for the Fat Joe Jordan. Some of those meetings were literally just me and him, brainstorming, bouncing ideas off each other. But after the VMAs, Mike deaded the deal. Michael Jordan did not want to insert himself into a hip-hop beef. It was too dangerous. By not getting that deal with Jordan, Fat Joe missed out on a $20 million payday. But even 50 is no stranger to losing money. Not because of rap beefs, but because he loans it to people who can't pay him back. This birthed his iconic slogan, "You better have my money by Monday." And if you think he was harsh on Mitchell Green, look at what he did to Daryl Mitchell when he wouldn't pay up.
No, I got the money. Well, I guess that takes care of the landmine. I'm back in business. Welcome to the freshly reopened. You didn't hear this from me. You want? I have no idea what you're talking about. Nope. No. Sorry.
Damn. Stealing the wheel from a paralyzed man's wheelchair is messed up. Someone who can defend themselves should stand up to this guy, like Conor McGregor.
What's up, New York City? 50 cents up, bitch.
That was kind of random. In 2018, Conor decided to call out 50 since he was in New York doing a press conference for his heavily anticipated fight with Floyd Mayweather. Conor is a bit of a troll himself, so he thought, why not take some shots at the King of New York, since Conor thinks he is the King of New York.
I run New York City. I'm a pimp.
But 50 knew Conor's chances against Floyd Mayweather were slim, and he was right. After Floyd TKO'd Conor in the 10th round, he posted this photo of Conor on Instagram, and this for calling me a bitch. Knock the snot out your ass. 50 let his friend handle the business for him. However, they weren't always friends, and Floyd has been a victim of some vicious 50 Cent trolling over the years. 50 and Floyd's rocky relationship started when Floyd was on trial for a domestic abuse charge in 2012. 50 says that before Mayweather was sentenced, he told him to start a joint venture boxing promotion company called the Money Team, because at this point, Floyd never trademarked or legally licensed the name. Floyd told 50 to invest as much money as necessary to get the business up and running, and when he got out of jail, he would pay 50 the other half. Fifth claims that setting up the LLC and doing all the paperwork cost him $2 million, meaning that Floyd owed him $1 million. 50 was the first to greet the champ when he picked up Floyd from jail. Rumors arose that Fifth was messing around with Floyd's girlfriend, Chantel Jackson, while he was locked up, which led to a little bit of friction between the men. 50 denounced the rumors in an interview, but also said, me and Floyd are always going to be cool. With Floyd, everybody around him is waiting on the next time he feels generous, and I'll go and do what I have to do. We would later find out that Floyd was spending $300,000 on chains and Lamborghinis, but not giving 50 Cent the $1 million that he owed him, which led to Fifth saying, TMT is over. The Money Team is no longer a team, so it is SMS Promotions, that's it. Followed by, I'm no longer a part with or down with TMT Promotions, to which Floyd responded, a male boxing groupie. Hold my belts because your album sales have declined. Followed by a graph of 50 Cent's declining sales, and I respect the shooter, not the one who got shot, referring to, obviously, when 50 Cent got shot 9 times. Then Fifth, Floyd, you know I have more money than you. You go broke every fight, stupid. The back and forth went on for a little bit, but the next day 50 said it was all a publicity stunt. Floyd would later be cordial about the situation when he was asked.
A lot of people in the hip-hop community want to get a real answer. What happened between you and 50 Cent?
You know, it's just more like, you know, sometimes people don't see eye to eye on certain situations.
But Fifth still never got his money. For the next 2 years, Floyd never addressed the reason why they had friction. He always said he loves 50 and respects him, so 50 took the L and left him alone. But in 2014, when Floyd found himself flirting with T.I.'s wife Tiny, which led to punches being thrown at a Fat Burger in Las Vegas, Fifth couldn't help himself.
What is going on, man? Niggas tell me you down there at the Fat Burger fighting over Tiny.
When Floyd was asked about why 50 Cent, T.I., and Nelly take shots at him, he said, what's so crazy is this, you know? When people are not relevant and they're not moving units like they were once moving, you've got to realize, I've been relevant for 18 years. 50 woke up the next day, read the article, and responded with one of his most iconic memes ever.
I look at the computer say, Floyd said, fuck T.I., fuck Nelly, fuck 50. I'm like, what did he say fuck me for? Nelly fucked your first baby mama, Melissa, then took your fucking fiance. Say or what, Quan?
This photo of 50 Cent is the second most famous photo of 50 after his Get Rich or Die Trying album cover. The internet exploded, and Fifth wanted to keep the laughs coming. So in honor of the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge trend, he decided to challenge Floyd.
This is a special ASLELS challenge for you, Floyd. If you can read one full page of a Harry Potter book, nigga, I'll give $750,000 to whatever charitable organization you want to. Fuck that.
Fifth sensed that Floyd might not be able to read the Harry Potter book, so he made some changes to his challenge.
A phone call from my man Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy said if Floyd accepts the challenge, then he'll put it on the actual show, so you can read it on the show. We don't want to put pressure on you. We know you can't pronounce those words in that Harry Potter book, so we're going to let you read Cat in the Hat.
Sadly, Floyd never accepted the deal. He only responded with a picture of some multi-million-dollar checks saying, read this $72 million. Over the years, 50 continuously mocked Floyd and his reading capabilities, or incapabilities, writing out hilarious messages pretending to be Floyd. This troll was so devastating that to this day, 10 years later, people still make fun of Floyd for not being able to read.
Carrying a skill bag on stage. What are you doing with a skill bag on stage? You can't even read.
Are you reading from a teleprompter? But one thing that I do, I know you can't read.
Despite the back and forth, these two are like brothers, who sometimes just like to joke around. Tell Floyd I said he won. He's the greatest of all time. And nobody, I mean nobody can ever take that away from him. What he's done with his life is amazing. I'm done with all the back and forth. Now can someone please read this to the champ? Hashtag positive vibes. So most of 50's beef with Floyd was harmless jokes, but for Rick Ross, 50 was not playing around.
There's nobody in control of me. Like, I do what I want to do. So, I'm deciding to fuck your life up.
50 was a huge part of exposing the fact that Rick Ross used to be a corrections officer, which when claiming to be a gangster, selling drugs, and living that life, previously having a job as a cop basically devalues your authenticity. 50 purchased the transcripts to his court case and leaked them onto the internet. DJ Khaled, just being associated with Rick Ross, caught some wind of 50's chaos.
Yeah, I got this little poem I wrote for DJ Khaled. Check this shit out, right? It's called I Just Want to Tell You What a Psychic Told Me. Your car tires got stabbed out. Now you know, I know where you be. I just want to tell you what a psychic told me. I know where your mama house at. Now look, you can see. But I just want to tell you what a psychic told me. I know where your mama work at. Now look at sleep.
Showing up to his mother's workplace was some devious stuff. DJ Khaled saw 50 backstage at a show. He had a chance to handle the situation. This is how it went.
I haven't really had a conversation with him. I seen him one time, like, he's one of the ones I let him go. Like, one night we was on the tour with the Locks, and I just came in the dressing room because I already talked to Jada and them. We already worked on music and stuff like that, and he was back there talking. And he got a good look at my shoes.
Oh, he had his head down.
Got a good look at my shoes when I was talking to him.
Damn. Khaled was shook. Where was Rick Ross to save his boy? Well, 50 continued to go at Rick Ross for many years. He even did an interview with the mother of Rick Ross's child where she willingly spoke about it.
So we're clear he was a correctional officer.
But the only thing 50 hates more than Rick Ross is a baseball. Because what the hell was this pitch?
And his first pitch was not just a bit out.
All this trolling and tough talk 50 does while he throws a baseball like that? 50 needs a taste of his own medicine. And he got that when this graffiti artist made this beautiful piece of him as Oprah. Lush is the name of the artist who is known for doing a little bit of trolling himself. A lot of his murals will poke fun at popular culture, celebrities, or meme culture. 50 Cent became a victim when Lush made his 50 Trump masterpiece in honor of a tweet that 50 posted just a few days before. Then we also got Posty Cent, 59, Swifty Cent, Oprah Jackson, 50 Pence, 50 Tyson. No, wait, that's the wrong 50 Cent. Isn't it a little refreshing to see 50 get trolled? Even rapper Ja Rule DM'd Lush to let him know that Lush is his new favorite artist. Probably because Ja has been 50's #1 enemy, who is still catching flack from 50 even after 2 decades. It all started in 1999. Ja Rule, who was also from Queens, New York City, was filming a music video when a friend of 50's ran up on him and robbed him for his chain. 50 claims that Ja ran into them both at the club and was scared towards 50 following the incident. However, Ja Rule denies seeing them together. Then 50 released Your Life's on the Line, which was a cutthroat diss to Ja and his crew, which led to a brawl in an Atlanta nightclub between the two crews.
We went down with that cat 50 Cent. We went down with that. Who? That cat 50 Cent. Who? I don't know him, you know what I'm saying?
But their next confrontation would take this beef to a whole new level. One night, 50 and Ja were in the same studio, Hit Factory in New York City. The G-Unit crew was upstairs recording, and the Murder Inc. crew was downstairs. Once Ja and his team got a tip, they went upstairs to confront them. In this tiny studio, a confrontation took place, screaming, threatening, and pushing each other. Through all the chaos, someone bumped into the light switch, which at that point, a Murder Inc. affiliate, Black Child, started stabbing people, one of them being 50 Cent. Although G-Unit member Tony Ayo says it was simply just a scratch, this certified a lifelong beef for the two. They exchanged multiple diss tracks over the years.
I know niggas from your hood, you have no history, never poke nothing, never pop nothing, nigga stop front.
With the most famous one from 50 being I Smell. In the 2000s, they couldn't even be at award shows at the same time. They couldn't be at concerts at the same time, but they were both on the Billboard Hot 100 at the same time. Both men were extremely successful, but with 50 having a much more cult-like fan base due to his Eminem and Dr. Dre associations, as well as his charismatic personality, the public usually took his side, leading to Ja feeling like he took the L when it comes to their beef.
We talk about it. Right. Yeah, we took the L. We took the L, but you know.
But even after Ja admit that, 50 never let off the gas, taking any opportunity he can to bully him. And the absolute catastrophe that was Ja's Fire Festival did not help at all. 50 had a field day with that. But in 2018, Ja would find himself on the wrong end of the most savage, brutal, and hilarious troll 50 Cent ever did. Biff posted an Instagram screenshot from Groupon, which was apparently where Ja's concert tickets were being sold. If you don't know, Groupon is a coupon/discount app where typically brand new businesses use to get customers in the door, or the app is used by failing businesses trying to stay alive. So a concert being there indicates that nobody wants to go. Fifth mentioned that tickets were only $15, so he said he bought 200 seats in the front row so they can be empty. Imagine Ja Rule walking on stage only to see the first 200 seats empty with only one person sitting up front, and it's 50 eating popcorn giving him a wink. That would have given him king troll status for life. The internet exploded with laughter, absolutely clowning Ja Rule. This could be the pettiest thing anyone could ever do to their enemy. He followed up with another post. What a show. I mean, just great. Do it again. My kid went to the restroom. Now, as much as we all want to believe this is true, it likely didn't happen.
I got 10 stats right now for anybody that can find footage of this foolery that this nigga's talking about.
And what Ja is saying here is definitely true. But if you think about it, if nobody showed up to the concert, then nobody could have recorded it. So now you know. If you end up on 50 Cent's bad side, you could be turned into a meme for the rest of your life. By the way, y'all, I just executive produced a 7-track EP called Stamp that's out right now on all streaming services. I would appreciate it if you go check it out. Thanks. Hate award shows, and celebrities hate when comedians host them, because the comedians can't resist the opportunity to get on stage and belittle celebrities during their night of highest honor. But the fans love these spectacles because we get to sit back and watch the chaos.
Relax, I'm going to try and be nice. You're global megastars with amazing talent, most of you. A few of you just married well. You know who you are. We all do. We all do.
Today we are going to take a look at some of the funniest, most savage, and painfully awkward moments that have come from comedians at award shows, starting with Jerry Seinfeld, who exposed these ceremonies for what they truly are. Comedy legend Jerry Seinfeld bluntly explained his hatred for award shows while he accepted the Comedian Award presented by HBO in 2007.
You don't give awards to comedians. First of all, comedians don't need awards. Awards are for people that are looking for work. We're not looking for work.
Jerry opens with an interesting point. Comedians will not sell more tickets to their stand-up performances based on some pretentious award because being funny is subjective. However, in cinema, receiving an accolade will make producers and directors more interested in hiring an award-winning actor in future films for obvious creative and marketing reasons.
You know, I don't know why we're so fascinated with actors in this culture. They haven't got a thought in their stupid bedhead hairdo mini brains. Why? We must honor this man. Why? He pretended to be Bob Johnson. Playing dress up and pretend is not genius, ladies and gentlemen. It's not genius. Roll the cameras, put on these clothes, stand there ready, say what we told you to say. Fantastic. He did it. Give this man a huge golden trophy. He's a goddamn genius.
As an actor himself, I'm sure Jerry is just joking here. However, comedians are often writers, directors, producers, and performers of their own material. Ironically, it kind of makes them more deserving of these esteemed awards.
And secondly, and even more important, is your whole career as a comedian is about making fun of pretentious, high-minded, self-congratulatory BS events like this one. The whole feeling in this room of reverence and honoring is the exact opposite of everything I have wanted my life to be about.
Now, him clearly expressing disdain for these ceremonies might come as a surprise to you, but comedians before and after him have felt the exact same hatred, like Don Rickles, who paved the way for comedians after him to unapologetically say what's on their mind.
I am so excited to get this Kakamemi Award.
While you may think it's disrespectful to just make fun of an award you're being honored for, it's hard to take it seriously when there are so many award shows that you can't even keep track of them. You have the Golden Globes, the Emmys, the Grammys, Directors Guild of America Awards, the BAFTA Awards, Screen Actors Guild Awards, Producers Guild of America Awards, Writers Guild of America Awards, the Oscars, MTV Video Music Awards, BET Awards, American Music Awards, and that's not even all of them. These people spend more time celebrating than they do creating.
I get this wonderful TV Land Award, and whoever designed it is a moron.
Now, I'm sure you all know the typical structure of these events. One person will be the host of the entire night, but different celebrities will take the stage to present each award. Usually, these celebs read their lines off teleprompters, and often they are reading bad jokes that someone else wrote with terrible delivery.
We're here to present the VMA to the best group, and we love everything that has to do with groups.
Yeah.
Group therapy, group hugs, groupies.
Very exciting for both of us because we're both nominated.
Actually, James, I'm not nominated tonight.
Oh, come on, Ann, don't be so modest.
No, I'm not modest. I'm just not nominated. It used to be, you get naked,
Quan,
you get
hope you won't
nominated.
take offense, but I've got no time for niceties.
Not anymore.
Understood, brother.
Not anymore.
Which made Don's subtle jab about reading from the teleprompter that much funnier.
Let's read these funny lines they wrote for us.
Okay.
Don then goes on to sarcastically laugh at the jokes.
First, it's a thrill to be matched up at the Emmy Awards with Mr. Warmth himself,
The things
Don
I talk
Rickles.
more when you
the
come
world
back.
hasn't seen a pairing like this since John McCain and Sarah Palin.
It's the deep layers of irony that make Don's delivery so good. These celebrities know award shows are pompous. They also know Don isn't afraid to call them out on their bullshit. Yet even before he can get the jokes out, they already laugh and applaud the comic legend. But don't you dare try to interrupt one of his punchlines.
Oh, Julia Roberts, you live next to me at the beach, you know that. Thanks for all the visits. Anyway, I'm living about 2 blocks from you. The broad never shows up. Come by and say hello.
Closer than 2 blocks.
You have no lines, Julia. Just nod. Anyway,
And even if the entire ceremony is dedicated to one person, like when Martin Scorsese received a tribute for the AFI Life Achievement Award, Don Rickles will humble them.
Marty, you are the most annoying director I ever had. Little guy. He's the kind of guy in prison who's a squealer all the time. Pulling on your pants like going, let's do it again. Marty, when we see all the films you did, none of them were great.
But if you feel bad for Martin, don't worry. Clint Eastwood got the same treatment the previous year.
Clint, I say it, nobody else has said it, and I say it from my heart. You're a lousy actor.
This is why you can never get too comfortable at these gatherings, like when David Mann was presenting at the Neighborhood Awards and Lavelle Crawford caught a stray fat joke.
Anybody got some chicken? An extra piece of chicken? Lavelle, I know you got it. Hey, take your jacket off and cover that side of the audience up.
I think we can all agree that the best moments come from the host directly sniping one of the members of the audience.
It's a big year for Jack. He also got in a hot tub with Kathy Bates. But hey,
make sure you take care of
who
that
hasn't?
back when you get to it.
One of the most savage roasts came from Amy Poehler at the 2013 Golden Globes. She introduced director Catherine Bigelow, who was previously married to famous director James Cameron. Catherine was nominated for Best Director for the film Zero Dark 30, which received a ton of criticism for glorifying CIA torture in the film.
Haven't really been following the controversy over Zero Dark 30, but when it comes to torture, I trust the lady who spent 3 years married to James Cameron.
Make sure you take care of that back when you get to it. Because this was Jimmy Longhall's best part. When it gave up the ghost to the
Amy
flames,
has built herself a reputation for kind of being a roast master.
Yes, Matt Damon is here. We're behind the candelabra. Where are you, Matt?
That's dedication.
Matt, on any other night in any other room, you would be a big deal, but tonight, and don't take this the wrong way, you're basically a garbage person.
Oh, and Tina Fey is damn good too.
Gravity is nominated for Best Film. It's the story of how George Clooney would rather float away into space and die than spend one more minute with a woman his own age.
But sometimes making jokes about celebrities doesn't always go over well, like the time Sarah Silverman made fun of Britney Spears' children at the 2007 VMAs.
But have you seen Britney's kids? Oh my God, they are the most adorable mistakes you will ever see. They are so cute. They're as cute as the hairless vagina they came out of. I'm serious, they're this cute, you guys.
The audience didn't think this joke was very funny, but this was back in 2007 when the internet didn't have a full-force grip on everyone's lives, so nobody was tweeting their outrage against Sarah. That was not the case for Bill Burr, who made a bunch of jokes at the 2021 Grammys pre-show that caused uproar online. After a beautiful piano solo from Igor Levit, Bill was brought on stage and said this.
How are you? Was I the only one who wanted to kill himself during that piano solo?
Critics exploded online, scolding Bill for making such a distasteful joke during a night of honor and praise. Little did critics know, it was only going to get worse. Bill immediately followed up by making fun of the Grammys pre-show as he thought he was going to be hosting the actual Grammys, only for him to show up to an empty Hollywood set presenting awards to a handful of producers and a few thousand people watching on the internet.
I bought a suit for this. I thought I was going to be on TV. I'm such a moron. I am losing so much money right now.
For some reason, they had Bill, a white man from Boston with absolutely no musical talent or knowledge, present all of the Latin Music Awards and nominees.
All right. Hey, how many feminists are like going nuts? So why is this cis white male doing all this Latino stuff?
And he unsurprisingly butchered just about every name.
I can't say this name. Natalie what? All right. And the winner, the Grammy goes to Natalia Lafourcade. And the Grammy goes to Gustavo Dudamel, conducting the Los Angeles Philharmonic. I will be accepting the Grammy on behalf of Gustavo Dudamel. Congratulations. Crushed that one. And the Grammy goes to Frederick Ballantyne, Angel Blue, Dead Sea Graves.
Because of people's outrage, some comedians don't think it's worth it to host anymore. Like Kevin Hart, who decided to drop out of hosting the Academy Awards after he was attacked on Twitter for his unsavory humor. Kevin Hart was announced to be the host of the 2019 Oscars, and immediately Twitter erupted, where detractors posted a series of old homophobic tweets. Nearly all of them were just really bad jokes that seem relatively menial. However, one stood out more than most. Kevin Hart tweeted, "Yo, if my son comes home and tries to play with my daughter's dollhouse, I'm going to break it over his head and say in my voice, 'Stop, that's gay.'" Critics also resurfaced an old joke from his iconic 2010 comedy special, Seriously Funny.
I'm telling you guys one of my biggest fears. One of my biggest fears is my son growing up and being gay. Hey, stop! That's gay! Quick!
Kevin had apologized for these previous words in 2012. In 2015, he also addressed using gay jokes in his film Get Hard.
Did you think this is mildly mean-spirited or at the very least a little bit dated?
I said to myself, this is funny.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, funny is funny, regardless of what area it's coming from.
Within 48 hours of the host announcement, Kevin claims he was given an ultimatum.
I was given an ultimatum. Kevin, apologize, or we're going to have to find another host.
So he ultimately decided to step down. Kevin did not host the Oscars and said recently in 2024 that he would never consider it ever again. Those gigs aren't good gigs for comics. It's no shot to the Oscars, no shot to the Globes or anything else. Those just aren't comedy-friendly environments anymore. Many people like Kevin believe that comedy is under a microscope these days, but it isn't even just everyday people online that get offended. Sometimes it's the A-list stars who, even though they are in the entertainment industry themselves, get offended. Like I've noticed that Tom Tom Hanks always has a sour look on his face. Anyone in the audience not laughing is terrified of being next. One A-lister who did not like being the butt of the joke was Jada Pinkett Smith, and her husband's reaction stamped one of the craziest award show moments of all time. During the 2022 Oscars, Chris Rock was presenting the award for Best Documentary Feature. Naturally, he opened with some jokes.
You know who's got the hardest job tonight? Javier Bardem and his wife are both nominated. Now, if she loses, he can't win. He is praying that Will Smith wins. Like, please.
Everything was going great until he transitioned to a joke about Jada Pinkett. Now, Chris had a joke during the 2016 Oscars about Jada that the crowd loved.
Jada's gonna boycott the Oscars. Jada boycotting the Oscars is like me boycotting Rihanna's panties. I wasn't invited.
Ironically, this joke was way harsher than the one he was about to deliver. Chris made a joke about Jada, who has spoken openly about having alopecia, a hair loss condition. Chris compared Jada to Lieutenant Jordan O'Neill, the star of G.I. Jane, notorious for her short, buzz-cut hairstyle. Based on Jada's expression, she did not like the joke. Will, on the other hand, was laughing. It's unclear if he was trying to mask his anger by laughing, or if he genuinely thought the joke was funny. But then the camera cuts back to Chris, and we can see Will storming the stage until he ultimately smacks Chris in the face. He sits back in his seat and yells at Chris, "Keep my wife's name out of your mouth." The deafening silence in the room permeated when the audience realized this was not scripted, and Chris tried to make sense of what just happened. This encounter made comedians hate award shows even more because Will faced zero repercussions for his actions. He was not kicked out, he was not spoken to by the show organizers. In fact, he won his first Oscar for Best Actor later on in the evening. He gave a 5-minute speech rambling and crying about how God is calling him to love people and to protect people. He received a standing ovation with Hollywood actors crying in support of him. The standing ovation made me realize how detached Hollywood is from reality. The slap incident is likely why we got the extremely safe and not edgy Jimmy Kimmel to host the awards for the next 2 years. And they were about as funny as you could imagine.
Christopher is joined by his longtime collaborator, Cillian Murphy, who is just wonderful. Cillian is... Interesting fact about his name, it's pronounced Killian when he does drama. When he does comedy, it's Cillian.
Actually, I take that back. The reason why we'll never get a good comedian to host an award show again is not because of Will Smith. It's because of Ricky Gervais, who unleashed an onslaught of savage roasts and jokes towards the guests, sponsors, and even the networks who host these events. Ricky exposed Hollywood so badly at the 2020 Golden Globes that no organizer will dare set themselves up to get decimated like that again.
Am I right?
Ricky Gervais is a British comedian who is known to push the boundaries with extremely edgy material. Politics, social issues, race, religion, there is absolutely nothing Ricky won't joke about. If people thought that Kevin Hart's material pushed the boundaries, Ricky makes Kevin look like a comedian for children. So how he was able to host the Golden Globes 5 times is pretty insane. The first time he hosted was in 2010, and yes, he was still a savage back then. As soon as he stepped on stage, he started attacking Steve Carell.
You probably know me as the creator of The Office. No, you don't, do you?
You think Steve Carell did it all? He's brilliant, isn't he, Steve Carell? He's amazing as the bumbling office manager. Where does he get his ideas from? Let's play.
If you don't know, Ricky Gervais created a British comedy show called The Office in 2001, 4 years before the American version. Ricky's show only lasted 1 season, but is filmed the exact same way. No music, long awkward pauses, deadpan humor, semi-realistic but also extremely unrelatable chaos in the work environment. The premise of the show is the exact same, and only diehard fans of the American version would argue how it's different. Ricky, like the savage he is, goes on to promote his version of the show, as well as roasting the network hosting the event.
Or if you think that particular version of the show has jumped the shark a little bit, then watch the original. Fridays on Adult Swim. Or get the box set, that's still available. So go and get that. I will be making the most of this opportunity. I'm not used to these sort of viewing figures.
What now?
Let's face it, nor is NBC. So
He then goes on to belittle actors' value to the world. Notice how they almost clap for themselves.
It is an honor to be here in a room full of what I consider to be the most important people on the planet. Actors. They're just better than ordinary people, aren't they? No, we all know that. Imagine a world without actors. Oh, God, it doesn't bear thinking about it. Imagine if they ever went on strike. You couldn't replace them. You couldn't replace them with any other profession, lawyers or doctors. Can you imagine a real surgeon doing what Hugh Laurie does in-house? It would be pathetic. He'd be all over the place going, oh, where do I stand? How's my American accent? What's my lines?
Hugh Laurie did not like that joke. Another celebrity not very fond of Ricky's jokes was Mel Gibson. Mel has struggled with alcoholism since he was 13 years old. He is also known in Hollywood to be pretty outwardly anti-Semitic. In 2006, he got arrested for a DUI and then proceeded to blame Jews for all the wars around the world before threatening the police officer. So Ricky had to take a jab.
I haven't offended anyone. I didn't mean, it's not my fault. There's a lot of powerful people here, so if I said it's... Honestly, I like a drink as much as the next man. Unless the next man is Mel Gibson.
Ricky's comments throughout the night felt distasteful to many around the world. The numbers don't lie, and he drove NBC's ratings through the roof. The 67th Annual Golden Globe Awards presents NBC with its biggest non-sports viewership in the slot in 6 years. The Golden Globe Awards gains 12% in adults 18 to 49 and 14% in total viewers versus last year's telecast. So he was invited back again the next year.
Also not nominated, I Love You, Philip Morris, Jim Carrey and Ewan McGregor, two heterosexual actors pretending to be gay. So the complete opposite of some famous Scientologists then. What?
All because he couldn't bear to be separated
Probably.
from the machine. That's dedication.
My lawyers helped me with the wording of that joke.
Ricky set the tone for the night that 2011 would be even crazier than 2010, immediately attacking the nominees, specifically The Tourist, which was a 2010 film led by Johnny Depp and Angelina Jolie that was nominated for Best Motion Picture.
It was a big year for 3D movies. Toy Story, Despicable Me, Tron. Seems like everything this year was three-dimensional.
Cars a lot
Except
like
the characters in The Tourist.
They won't learn new tricks. That doesn't mean you can't
I feel bad about that joke. No, I'll tell you what. I'm jumping on the bandwagon because I haven't even seen The Tourist. Who has?
The Tourist was notoriously a terrible movie, and many wondered why it was nominated in the first place. Well, if you understand how Golden Globes are chosen, it might make a bit more sense. The Hollywood Foreign Press is a voting body of about 90 journalists that determine who gets nominated and wins the trophy. To get into the HFPA, you must write for a foreign publication but live in Los Angeles. It's no secret that members of the HFPA like to use their status to mingle with celebrities. It's like if I had a real vote on who wins a Grammy and I started hitting up rappers to have dinner with me. They might entertain it because theoretically I could help them win an award. So you will notice Ricky often says the Hollywood Foreign Press is corrupt.
It must be good because it's nominated, so shut up, okay? And I'd like to quash this ridiculous rumour going around that the only reason The Tourist was nominated was so the Hollywood Foreign Press could hang out with Johnny Depp and Angelina Jolie. That is rubbish. That is not the only reason. They also accepted bribes.
Ricky also had to take more shots at Mel Gibson.
Our first presenter is beautiful, talented, and Jewish, apparently. Mel Gibson told me that. He's obsessed.
And of course he had to dig into Steve Carell some more.
He was a jobbing actor, career not going that well if I'm being totally honest, who got his big break when I cast him in a remake of a show that I created called The Office. He's now leaving that show and killing a cash cow for both of us. Please welcome the wonderful Tina Fey and the ungrateful Steve Carell!
It's important to know that Ricky doesn't actually have hard feelings for Steve. They are both in on the joke and love to play up the bit.
It's funny, he always makes fun of me. Always. And
he's also,
I didn't know
you know,
they existed
in a
till my
personal way,
pa
been
told
very,
me to
very
go down
sweet
to
to
this
me.
old
Like,
man's
before
farm.
one of these award
Said
shows,
he
he
had a
pulled me
few
aside and
cars we
said,
could
hey,
take.
I've got a few things that I
What we
wanted
didn't
to
expect
go
was
after you with. Is
50
that okay? I'm
VWs in
like,
his
of course.
garden,
So
hanging
there
around
is a
like
side, there is
shrubbery in a
a
rich
gentler
man's
side
home.
to him that people
Damn
don't
waste of
necessarily
time.
see.
He's such a lovely man, though.
But he thinks you're sweet because, just to clarify, you go up to him before an award ceremony and say, I'm going to call you a prick in a minute, just to warn you.
But if I told him what I was going to say, you know, if I had access to them, I'd warn everyone.
Some people just don't like the idea of a person being the butt of someone's joke, so they definitely wouldn't like this stray that Sandra Bullock caught at the end of the night.
The next presenter is a national treasure, Miss Congeniality herself. This down-to-earth girl next door first stole our hearts as a bus driver and then as a railway fare collector. Now, of course, she wouldn't be seen dead on public transport because, as she just said to me backstage, poor people are gross and they smell bad. Please welcome Sandra Bullock.
Surely, after these attacks, he wouldn't be brought back to host the 2012 awards. After all, the Hollywood Foreign Press did not want him back, with one member stating, "My worry was that he was insulting, and when I invite someone to my house, they don't insult me. But this is show business. I guess I'm old-fashioned." But NBC was strongly in favor of Gervais returning because the ratings were just as good as they were last year, with 17 million live viewers for the entire show. So they decided to bring him back for a third year, and he was as unhinged as ever, opening with lines that proved he could care less about this special evening.
Tonight, you get Britain's biggest comedian hosting the world's second biggest award show on America's third biggest network. So, it's four. It's four. For any of you who don't know, the Golden Globes are just like the Oscars, but without all that esteem.
The first presenter he brought up was Johnny Depp, and he called back to his previous joke last year about his movie, The Tourist.
Have you... Ready?
I guess so.
Have you seen The Tourist yet?
This truck's dead as good, man.
Tell you, how about we do a little wait? I bet I can get that truck up and running for the...
No.
The lead actor of a movie that was nominated for a Golden Globe, admitting that he didn't even watch his own movie the following year, says just about everything you need to know about the value of these awards. Celebrities, like Elton John, have had enough of Ricky's nonsense. Even Ricky wrote on his blog after the event, "I've told my agent to never let me be persuaded to do it again. But then 2016 came around and Gervais was made an offer he couldn't refuse. He tweeted, 'I'm making a list, I'm checking it twice, gonna find out who's naughty and nice. Hashtag Golden Globes.' Ricky genuinely believed he would never be back, so he made the 2016 Golden Globes his most diabolical performance ever.
Shush. Shut up. You disgusting, pill-popping, sexual deviant scum. I want to do this monologue and then go into hiding.
Ricky kept reassuring everyone in the crowd he would be nice this evening. He was lying.
I am going to be nice tonight, and I'll tell you why. The president of the Hollywood Foreign Press just told me that if I say anything offensive or crass or resort to innuendo, he's going to come out here and personally pull me off. So that's an offer I couldn't refuse. Yes, that is the level. An old man pulling me off.
And then again insinuated that this award show is corrupt.
One Hollywood publication said that me hosting would mean that some film stars would stay away for fear of being made fun of. As if film stars will stay away from the chance of winning a Golden Globe, particularly if their film company has already paid for it.
Everyone is clapping and laughing because they know it's true. Ricky continued to just minimize and bash the award show every which way he could.
All-female remakes are the big thing. There's a female remake of Ghostbusters. There's going to be a female remake of Ocean's 11. And this is brilliant for the studios because they get guaranteed box office results and they don't have to spend too much money on the cast. So... Shut up, I don't care. If you do win tonight, remember that no one cares about that award as much as you do, okay? Don't get emotional, it's embarrassing, okay? That award is, no offense, worthless. It's a bit of metal that some nice old confused journalists wanted to give you in person so they could meet you and have a selfie with you.
Honestly, there is nothing more I can say to add to this.
Eva Longoria and America Ferrera aren't just beautiful, talented actresses. They're also two people who your future president, Donald Trump, can't wait to deport.
But I'm sure you can tell the energy of this show feels different than previous years. The first 3 shows he hosted, he was more playful, often chuckling to himself devilishly. But this show, he seems more fed up and actually just trying to be blunt.
Oh. This show is way too long, isn't it? It's way too... This could be half an hour. Okay. Let's get through it. Right. Unbelievable. Some people still think this award means something. The winners, just listen to me. Listen, it doesn't just... Right. When Brad and Angelina see our next 2 adorable little presenters, they're going to want to adopt them. Please welcome Kevin Hart and Ken Jeong.
And for some reason, the producers decided it would be a good idea for Ricky to introduce Mel Gibson, who he had previously attacked multiple times, and this time would be no different.
Listen, I'm sure it's embarrassing for both of us, okay? And I blame NBC for this terrible situation. Mel blames... We know who Mel blames. Mel's forgotten all about it, apparently. That's what drinking does. No. I want to say something nice about Mel before he comes out. Oh yeah, okay, here you go. I'd rather have a drink with him in his hotel room tonight than with Bill Cosby. Please, Malcolm. Mel Gibson.
That doesn't mean you can't trick it.
You keep saying that. This truck's dead with men.
Tell you what, how about we do a little wager? I bet I can get that truck up running for
The night concludes, celebrities are angry, the Hollywood foreign press is angry, Mel Gibson is angry, Ricky Gervais is never coming back. Until 2020, where they asked him to host for the 5th time. People were shocked. Ricky was shocked, and if we thought his 2016 show was direct and less playful, 2020 felt like he did not tell one joke, but rather just statements of how much he hates Hollywood.
You'll be pleased to know this is the last time I'm hosting these awards, so I don't care anymore. I'm joking. I never did. NBC clearly don't care either. 5th time. So, I mean, Kevin Hart was fired from the Oscars because of some offensive tweets. Hello. Lucky for me, the Hollywood foreign press can barely speak English.
He immediately set the stage that he would go out with a bang, and timbers were shivered.
People from every background, but they all have one thing in common. They're all terrified of Ronan Farrow. He's coming for you. He's coming for you. Look, talking of all you perverts, it was a big year. It was a big year for paedophile movies. Surviving R. Kelly, Leaving Neverland, 2 Popes. Shut up. Shut up. I don't care. I don't care.
Ronan Farrow is the son of Woody Allen, who became a journalist and led the charge in exposing Harvey Weinstein for his decades of sex crimes inside the film industry.
Spoiler alert, season 2 is on the way, so in the end, he obviously didn't kill himself. Just like Jeffrey Epstein. Shut up! I know he's your friend, but I don't care. You had to make your own way here in your own plane, didn't you? Right.
Tom Hanks didn't like that one.
Many talented people of colour were snubbed in major categories. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about that. The Hollywood foreign press are all very, very racist. So
it baffles me how most of Ricky's harshest roasts since 2010 were towards the organizers of the event, and they still hired him 5 times. But the ending of his monologue was not a joke.
So, if you do win an award tonight, don't use it as a platform to make a political speech, right? You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world. Most of you spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg. So, if you win, right, come up, accept your little award, thank your agent and your God, and f*** off. Okay?
His wit and his charm we saw in previous years was no longer present. He had used it all up.
Our next presenter starred in Netflix's Bird Box, a movie where people survive by acting like they don't see a thing. Sort of like working for Harvey Weinstein. You did it. I didn't. You did it. Shut the fuck up.
Fans absolutely loved Ricky's direct attacks on the privileged class. These harsh jokes are likely the most adversity they had to face all year. Classically, journalists hated his performance. Rolling Stone said, the host's shtick at the 2020 Golden Globes felt incredibly stale. Salon said, why the Golden Globes and host Ricky Gervais felt particularly pointless. Variety said, but most of the time, his stand-up seemed lazy. Which is true. It was kinda lazy, because it didn't seem like he was joking. But hey, if these celebrities are gonna congratulate themselves over a dozen times per year with superficial awards and trophies, then they need a comedian to humble them. But I think we can all agree that the real winners of these events are the fans, who get to laugh and reminisce on the comedic chaos that ensued at the expense of multi-millionaires.
Karens are known for their entitled attitudes and thinking they're above the law.
I want the manager of the airport here!
But what happens when Karens bark up the wrong tree and try to take on police officers?
Get your f***ing hands off me!
Cool out.
Hey, stop it! Assault!
Now you gotta charge for battery on a peace officer.
This is the ultimate compilation of all these moments, starting with arguably the most satisfying. In early December 2021, multiple drivers reported a blue car speeding down a New Mexico highway. However, shortly after pulling them over, he was shown that this was going to be one of the most difficult stops of his entire career. The driver had sped off, making a complete fool of the officer. In fact, it had gone so far that the officer was unable to pursue it, and instead radioed in the license plate and vehicle description. He did, however, continue in the same direction as the driver, and miraculously managed to spot the car parked outside a gas station nearby. But things somehow only managed to get worse.
Hey man, who just walked in owning that car? Come out of the stall and get out! Now!
I'm peeing!
Come out of the fucking vehicle! Get out here now! Get out! Get your fucking hands up!
What did I do? I didn't do anything!
If it's too dangerous for you, Marshals, maybe I should go in there
That's why they told me
myself.
you're driving that blue car,
Marshals.
right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I was
You are
beginning to think
now
you were...
detained,
Hold on now.
so I figured out exactly why you left.
Marshals. You look like...
Because you took off my traffic stop.
What? Are you here to see the sheriff?
While she didn't exactly try to hide it, the cop made sure to confirm she was the driver of the blue vehicle before officially detaining her. And now that he's got her cuffed, he's able to get to the bottom of exactly why she sped off and what she could be hiding from the cops.
Let's go.
We are the founding families of Colorado Springs. I'm proud to trace my lineage back before the war. On
So what
both
happens when
sides
you run
of
from
my
the
family,
police?
someone let the Dorseys into town.
Come on.
And the savages have taken my family. I came here to demand that Sheriff
Stand
Daisy
right here.
immediately mount an
Stand right
expedition
here.
to save
Separate
them.
your feet.
Marshals
Separate your feet.
Nope, they rebelled against the
Separate
patriarchal
your
work.
feet.
Well, no. Sheriff Daisy,
This is
I will
just the
not
start of
leave
the
until
resistance
you
from this
speak to
woman
me.
as she continues to beg the officer to
I'm
release
sorry,
her. But this
Deputy,
cop
but
isn't
no
making
one's
the same
even
mistake
gone into the
twice.
garden
Just
since
think
I've
of the
been
abuse
here.
from his colleagues if he lets this woman escape again. So he radios for backup and has a second officer keep an eye on her while he continues to try and identify her.
Where's your ID?
I don't know.
What's your name?
Jamie
Jamie what?
Granger.
The only place you're going is to jail.
I didn't do anything.
Okay.
I did not do anything.
Okay.
Please let me go. I just want to call my boyfriend, please.
You're not calling anybody. The only place that you're going to go is to the jail. You're going to go to jail for resisting arrest, eluding.
I didn't
All right?
do anything.
Yes, you did. I stopped you 8 miles down the road. I stopped you 8 miles down the road. You pulled over for me, and then you took off.
No, I did not.
Okay. I got to go talk to the manager
Deputy
really quick.
Torres, please.
The
You
woman
have
was
to let me talk
identified as
to the
Jamie
sheriff.
Granger,
Please put in a
and
word
the
to
manager
the sheriff for
confirmed
me.
she was indeed the driver of the
only
blue
lent me a
Hyundai,
marshal
but
or
he
two.
also
I put
apologized
my
for
family
kicking
myself.
in their
Listen,
now broken bathroom door.
Sorry
And he
about
returned to Jamie and his Thanks, colleague Doris. if she still hadn't given her identity over, despite having not stopped screaming since the officer
Dorsey Road,
left.
really?
So he decided it was time to try and finally strike a
on the
deal
back of the box.
and get some information
Keep
out
the
of
peace
her.
here. If you've got any feedback, be sure to fill out a form.
No, that's fine.
Deputy
if you work
Torres.
for me, I'm going to work with
Will
you.
the sheriff see me now?
Boyfriend, please.
If I let you call your boyfriend, you going to tell me who you are? Where's your phone?
I think it's in my car right there.
Where?
Right, the blue car right behind.
Obviously the blue car, but where in the blue car?
And I don't know, in the console, I think.
Okay. So I noticed that
Well,
while we were in the
you must
bathroom,
be the
that I smelled a faint odor of alcohol coming from you. Have you had anything to drink today?
Call me Daisy.
A little bit. Is that why you ran from me? Okay.
And I ain't
So
one to turn away
the reason why I stopped you,
I
okay,
reckon you
is because
already
you
heard all
were called
about
in
the
by
Dorsey
several
raid.
people, failing to
So I
maintain your
won't
lane
bore you
and
with
going
the
head on with other
details.
cars.
Thing is,
Okay.
I lost a lot of
Don't
money.
play games with me right now. Okay. I'm not
Plum.
stupid. Stop treating me like I
I
am.
hear
Okay.
you're some
When I
fancy
turned around
liaison
and put
now.
my lights on, okay.
Old soul
When I
taking
turned
my
around to
people
put my
without
lights
even
on,
asking?
I saw
Ma'am,
you
yes,
driving the
ma'am.
car. When I got out of the truck and walked around, you
That
decided
girl.
to take off.
No,
You
I
yes.
think I ain't heard her
Yes, you
yet.
did.
Tell you
Then
what,
what do you call it? Then what do
her
you call it?
people are 100 family groups.
Negative.
I did not know you were after me. I swear.
That's why you
Go in there
pulled
and
over
kick
for me.
some ass,
That's why I
Rangers.
stopped right behind you.
I didn't know.
It's not even in question that Jamie is lying through her teeth here, but at least they have an explanation for
I'm not
everything
sure why
now.
the sheriff
She's
didn't
had more
assign
than a little to
marshals.
drink, so
Sheriff
now
Daisy
the
told
officers are
they
tasked
and some
with
of our-
figuring
it's a
out
project,
exactly
but there
how
are plenty of
much. To calm
places
her
to
down,
hide in
though,
the garden.
they let her call her boyfriend
Doors-
while they
certainly.
finish some paperwork,
Oh, it's
and it
true.
seems to do
She's
the
a
trick.
prodigy, all right.
But unfortunately,
Also a
their
pain in
moment
the
of
ass.
peace wouldn't last for so long.
How much you had to drink today?
Nothing.
But there's
Yeah, that's
no
not what you
need to
told me
worry that I will be
initially.
shy about pulling the
You had
trigger.
nothing to drink.
No.
I
Okay.
promise, strangers.
So, would you be
if
willing
it
to
is
take
to
some
save
standardized
my
field sobriety
family,
tests so I can
will
see?
not
No?
hesitate.
Yep, I'll take some field sobriety tests. Sure.
So, here's the deal. If you try to run...
I know very little about
I'm
you,
not gonna
strangers.
run.
All right, I'm
And
going to
even
attack
if I
you to the ground, and
trusted
there's a
you as I
possibility you
would
might get
friend,
injured.
Not
it is
gonna
still
run.
my
I did not-
family who
No,
Dorsey's
I'm not
friend.
gonna run.
I must
Unbuckle me.
go.
I'll take whatever
You
test you
have
want.
to.
You want to take some field sobriety
I
tests?
heard the sheriff
All right,
say
we're gonna go
Lipinski
right over
wasn't to
here.
let
We're going
you
to use
into the
that
garden
line
without-
that way. It's nice and flat. We're out
At
of the way.
last.
That big yellow line right there on the road.
Okay.
All right.
And if I pass these tests,
You're still going to jail.
why?
I already told you.
What'd I do?
For evading.
We've all seen these sobriety tests before. She's made to follow the officer's finger to check for strange eye movements, walk the yellow line, and stand on one leg. But before the cop can even start with the second test, Jamie decides she's had enough. But not in the way you might expect.
Don't start yet. Okay? I didn't tell you to start. Do you understand my test?
Garden of the Gods is just north of Market Square.
I'm drunk.
Marshal
Okay?
Lipinski
I'm
should be
drunk.
out front.
Okay.
I just want my boyfriend, okay?
Where's your boyfriend at?
You called him. I don't know.
Okay, well, do you want to finish the test or do you want to stop?
Just stop.
Okay.
No, do not put me back in those. I will cry.
Listen to me. I'll put him in the front if you just chill out.
Sheriff
Okay,
Daisy
but I have
said
to put him on you.
Let you go
Okay.
on in.
Fine.
All right.
Marshal
So you're going to
Lipinski?
be under arrest
I apologize.
for driving under the influence of intoxicating
I
liquor
meant
and/or
no
drugs.
disrespect.
Okay. There's something I
There's
need to read to you.
no room for amateurs in this town.
The cop reads her rights and heads off to do a little more paperwork while she once again calls her boyfriend. The cop is being extremely respectful and understanding to a woman that frankly doesn't deserve it at all. And what does he get in return? Well, you're about to find out.
Okay, Jamie. So, what, he hung up on you?
He's gonna come get me.
Well, so we're going to talk about that, okay? You want to hold on to your phone? That way you can use it again? All right. So, with these charges that you're receiving, there is no bond, which means you cannot get out of jail.
I did not do anything.
Well, that's the difference of opinion we have. Okay? So,
What did I do?
you're driving drunk because you're under arrest for driving under the influence, okay? You took off from my traffic stop, which is resisting and evading, so you're going to go to jail for that. Okay?
Traffic stop.
Well, I can't help you if you don't remember, but I definitely remember you. Okay?
Please just let me go.
No.
Please.
That's not how this works. Okay, that's not how this works.
What am I supposed to do?
Sit in jail. All right. So,
I can't just sit here.
part of the process of towing your car is I have to inventory it. Now, are there any large quantities of money that I need to be made aware of that way? Okay. Do you have any firearms in there?
No.
Okay. I have to ask those questions. All right.
It seems that something about the officer searching her car set her off. But just seconds after the cop discovers 2 open bottles of vodka by the driver's seat, she goes ballistic.
Stop!
Okay.
What?
Tell you what.
Let me go.
I'm gonna put the handcuffs behind your back if you don't stop.
No. Let me go.
No.
I did not do this. Let me go. You cannot hold my car.
Okay. No, you're not getting out.
Yes, I am. No. Get off me. Get off.
You're gonna
Stop it! Sexual assault!
You're gonna get an additional. You're gonna get an
Let me
additional.
go!
Do you?
Let me go!
You're gonna get battery on.
Sexual assault!
You're gonna get another charge
No,
if you hit.
let me go! Let me go!
Come back over here. Put your
No.
phone on.
No!
Come back
Let
over
me
here.
go!
Come on.
No!
Come on. Okay.
Let me go!
The kick to the officer's chest disconnected his body cam for a moment, but when it returns, she's outside of the vehicle still crying, but with an extra charge of battery on an officer. What's almost worse than the resisting, biting, and kicking is the false claims of sexual assault at the officer. When horrible people like Jamie make these bogus allegations, it belittles women who are actually victims of it, and can result in actual claims being discredited in future cases. But that seems to be the least of Jamie's worries. She's more concerned with making as big a scene as possible, in the delusional hope that it'll somehow get her released.
Let me go! Let me go!
Get in.
No! No!
Get
Let
in.
me go! No!
Get in.
No!
Get in.
Get your feet in. Get your feet in.
Let me go! Let me go!
Get in.
Get your feet
No! Let me go! Let me go!
Just get in. Come on.
No!
Put your foot in.
No!
Can you come around to the other side? We'll drag her in.
Let me go! Let me go!
Put your foot in there.
No!
Come on. You'll get another charge.
No!
Get in.
No!
Get in.
No!
Put your foot in.
You're hurting me!
Get in. Just pull her, Avi. Thank you. Leave her. Hi. You know I hate drunk people, dude.
Unfortunately for this poor officer, he had to spend many more hours with Jamie while he took her to jail and booked her. But we are able to skip straight to the charges. In court, she pleaded guilty to aggravated DWI and 2 counts of battery on a police officer. But unfortunately, her exact charges are unknown. But if you thought that was bad, wait until you see this next Karen. These 2 cops were called to an apartment building for a noise complaint, but things escalated quickly.
You need to get away from the house. You?
Yeah, I don't like you either, so as long as we're clear.
I am a nurse, and I did 12
You're an
years
LPN?
of it, and you need to get off. And I told you, this is a locked building. Get outside of my building now.
The woman is clearly intoxicated and completely unaware of what's going on. Remember, she's the one that called the cops to her building, but it seems she's completely forgotten exactly why she did that and is now taking offense to the police's presence in her building.
You're a lieutenant?
No, I'm not a lieutenant.
So get down!
Because I'm not a lieutenant.
I said get down!
I dare you to touch me. That'll be great.
Oh, that will never happen.
Who called? You were drunk.
I'm telling you to get out of my building.
What's
Because I'm sick. I need to go to the hospital.
What's wrong?
And why is this happening? Why? We're not even speaking anything. Tell him to get out. Bye.
Tell us why you called back inside.
Bye.
You want to tell us why you called?
The cops are clearly not fazed by the woman whatsoever and are just there to do their jobs. They were called by the woman and want to get to the bottom of why. If they can determine that it was done maliciously with no good reason, they can charge her for wasting police resources. But with the way things are going, she's about to catch a disorderly conduct case as well.
You don't ever come around my door.
How about this? Don't call us and I won't come back here.
I will have you disbarred.
Okay. Have me disbarred. Please do it.
I was not for over many years.
I don't care.
Exactly. I don't care!
I think it's all the time.
And you don't ever walk over walk up my stairs again.
I'm gonna treat you like a 4-year-old and start counting if you don't go in there.
Did the patriarch send you? I'm sorry. I need to warn you. The Dorseys are gathering up ahead, but...
Bellamy,
What building?
I thought you were with your family.
Thank God you're
Have you done anything to my people?
I'll tell
The
whatever
officers
I can
know
to
the
help.
woman is just extremely drunk and confused, and staying on her property is just making things worse. So they decide to just leave and hope she manages to settle down. But before they do, they see her leave her apartment and start attacking one of her tenants.
Light. It's normally they maintain a stable temperature for plants, but they can be adjusted to help power the solar collectors, or even thaw frozen components. I once coupled a PAL with a dynamic cross-photon matrix a while ago. I couldn't figure out their function at first.
What about my
After I saw them, they fell away. They were scared to save my life.
After her arrest,
I
the
won't
woman was
forget it.
taken to the police station for further processing, where she continues to be loud, angry, and awkward as ever.
Listen to my name, Aunt Stinson. My name's Aunt Stinson. Call my family. Now take my... Now! I said no. No. Take my watch.
Are you gonna be able to get through this?
No. Because he is...
You're gonna be able to get through this part. Okay, listen
He
to me.
did wrong.
Are you listening?
I didn't do anything wrong. He did this. He
Would you like to
did...
have
No!
It took a while, but the woman was eventually processed and charged with disorderly
Saved my
conduct.
life.
She was allowed
I
to
won't
sleep off
forget
the
it.
alcohol in jail and sent back on her way. But somehow, this woman doesn't even come close to the level of anger and violence that the girl in our next case does.
Get the off. Get off.
On February 25th, 2022, cops received a call about a possible drunk driver outside a bar. When they arrived, they found something they never expected. The driver of the vehicle was asleep with the engine on and his foot on the gas pedal. Had the car not been in park, he'd have been speeding straight ahead into traffic. So the cops knew they were going to have to wake the driver up and figure out what's going on.
Take your foot off the gas. You go ahead and step out of the vehicle for me, all right? How much have you had to drink tonight?
53 to 30 advised reference.
I'm tired, dude. You were passed out with your foot on the pedal. And the gas accelerating. You realize what could have happened here tonight, right?
Smoked any weed today?
Yes, sir.
Yeah?
Earlier.
Yeah, when was the last time?
Earlier.
It smells like it in the car.
The man admits to have been drinking and smoking tonight, and judging by his slurred speech and condition when they found him, it's clear he was definitely too impaired to be driving. So he decides to skip the sobriety tests and gets put straight in cuffs.
I'm sorry. That was bad. That shouldn't have happened. You understand, sir? If you weren't in park, your car would have been going across the street into traffic. 100%. You promise I'm not going to jail? I can't make that promise. If you could find a ride, you won't go to jail. Ride, I promise. Please call my mom. Hold on one second, sir. In there, dude. I'm so sorry.
Now, this should be where the story ends, but it turns out the man's girlfriend was still inside the bar, and when she saw the cops searching her car, she was not happy whatsoever.
Okay. Well, here, Alex.
What the are you doing?
You need to calm down.
No, you need to get the out of my car. For what?
Then talk.
So got to record this right now. What the for what?
Who
You gotta
is-
record this right now. I did literally nothing wrong. No. What the why are they searching my car?
Because your boyfriend was passed out in the car. He was in the driver's seat.
For what?
Drunk driving.
It's obvious his girlfriend isn't exactly sober either, and the more the cops try to calm her down, the angrier she seems to get.
What are you talking about? Why are you in my car?
Because he was in the car, he was operating the car, and he's now under arrest for...
How? How? Where's the security footage? Run it! Are you shitting me right now? You searched that's my car. You didn't have my permission.
Are you wanting to take your marijuana?
My marijuana?
Yeah. Because there's
you arrested him.
Yeah, there's marijuana in the car.
Go ahead, slap me with the ticket because it's decriminalized in the state of Ohio. It is decriminalized in the state of Ohio. That's my mother SUV. You don't have my permission. permission to search any goddamn car?
I don't need your permission.
Go ahead.
Search the car.
No, you're not gonna search my mother car.
Raise your voice in every place I
For what? For what? Your investigation for what? That's my car. You do not get a search warrant. That is my car, and you do not have my permission.
The cops obviously are correct here, and they are allowed to search the vehicle. As the man admitted to smoking marijuana, and the cops smelled it inside the vehicle, they have reasonable suspicion to believe that either the man or the owner of the vehicle were breaking the law. This gives them the authority to search the vehicle and confiscate the drugs without a search warrant. However, the girl just doesn't seem to understand this and continues shouting and arguing with the cops for a further 3 minutes before they decide to put her under arrest. But they could never expect what she would do next.
I literally don't have none on me. I literally don't have none on me.
It doesn't matter. You're for officer safety. You're not walking me.
Nothing is on me right now. I want to walk behind you because you're not going to play shit on my goddamn boyfriend. He's a fella. For what?
Obstruction of official business.
Go ahead, because I have money, baby. We're going to sue the state of Claremont County.
Tonight, you have electricity and heat.
I literally did nothing. You have no...
Put your hand behind your back. Put your hand behind your back, ma'am.
Get the off. Get off.
Right now.
Oh, so I need 5 men? Get the I need one mother... Get... one mother... Can ask me. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I got her.
Go ahead. Get the
If you kick again, you're going to get hobbled.
I literally didn't. Are you?
Get in the car.
Where's your mark?
Get in the car.
Where's your
Get
mark?
in the car. Put the seatbelt on.
Thank you, please. Safety's very important.
After aggressively resisting the officers and even kicking one of them in the head, she's finally placed in the back of a patrol vehicle and taken to the station. In search of the vehicle, multiple pill bottles and large bags of marijuana were also recovered. The girl was hit with charges of obstructing official business, resisting arrest, and disorderly conduct. It's unclear what the man's charges were, but he was allowed to return to his apartment after the events of that night. But none of these Karens were quite as entitled and insane as this one.
I want the manager of the airport here, and I want it now!
On the 25th of May 2021, police were called to a public disturbance at an airport. They had no idea what to expect, but they didn't think it'd be this bad.
I did nothing!
Ma'am, what happened?
This guy chokeholded me!
Ma'am.
You know, Miss Wesley.
What's wrong with him?
The marshals could always...
No, you need to talk to him.
I thought you only took people who were a bit more crooked-like.
Calm down. Calm down.
We don't discriminate.
No, that
As long as you can shoot and follow orders.
Come on, go over here.
You saw it!
I can only do one of those things.
Ma'am.
You saw it! He chokeholded me!
Ma'am, what's your name? I'm Officer Alton.
He threw me to the ground!
What's your name?
My name is Terry Andrews!
Come over here and we'll talk, okay?
As you'd expect, none of the other passengers saw anyone chokehold Terry, but they did see her drunkenly rush to her gate and push past other passengers to get to the front of the queue. A passenger stopped her from pushing past and forced her back in line. This caused her to start yelling and claiming that she was assaulted. As you can tell from this next clip, her actions didn't make her very popular with the other passengers.
I want the manager of the fucking airport here! Who saw me choking? Who saw him choke me to the ground? Who saw me?
I saw you run through the door when you weren't supposed to.
He choked me to the ground!
Ma'am, let's go over here. Ma'am.
I don't want him!
Over here.
In a dress!
Ma'am, let's go over here. Ma'am, go over here, okay?
Boo-hoo! You fuck off! I want the manager of the airport here! No!
Ma'am.
No!
Calm down.
I want the manager here!
Okay, we'll get the manager.
I'm not gonna be treated like this!
Ma'am.
I want an officer here!
Ma'am, I am Officer Alton.
I've been through hell trying to get through this goddamn airport service! I want some help! And I want it now!
Terry continues to scream and plead for one of the other passengers to stand up for her and say they saw the attack, but to no avail. She spends the next 5 minutes repeating the same story and doesn't stop screaming at any point. So the cop decides instead to go and talk to the man that she's claiming attacked her. But the interaction didn't go the way the cop expected.
Thank you. Was it you? Yes. Can you come out? She's not going to bother. You can come out too. How are you? So what happened?
She was making a ruckus over there in front of the thing. She came up behind us to get in the
explained his side of the story politely, stayed calm, and complied with the officer. A direct contrast to how Terry is still acting.
Terry, calm down and breathe.
No!
Let's go have a seat.
No!
Terry.
This guy chokeholded me! Look at the cameras!
Okay.
He threw me to the ground and chokeholded me!
Okay.
Another passenger!
Do you know what he looks
Because
like?
that woman at the reservation just sent him on me!
You want to come have a seat so I can help you out?
Please help me.
I'm here to help you, okay? Let's get you sit down so you can catch your breath. You want some water? You want to go to the water fountain with me? That's the water fountain over here, okay? Do you want to get some water? Sure.
Yeah, everybody, thank you for sticking up for me!
Okay.
She's temperamental, but she's slowly calming down. However, she's still lashing out at the passengers for not immediately rushing to her aid.
Thank you for helping me!
That's her stuff.
The assholes! Some America! They all saw it! They all saw it! He's still there! The guy that chokeholded me!
There, okay. Here, get some water.
Yeah, don't care about my shit. I don't care. I just want to go home!
This is gonna be expensive!
Oh my god, I'm never flying again. I can't stand America. I'm moving to Spain.
Did you have anything to drink today, sir?
Yes, I did. Is that against the law?
No, it's not. How much did you have to drink today?
I had a couple of margaritas. You can go talk to the bartender. I had a very fine time with those people until I got here.
Terry is right. It's not illegal to have a few drinks, but it's almost certainly contributing to her outburst. At this point, it's been almost 15 minutes, and she's still yet to calm down. In fact, she seems to only be getting worse.
You go talk to him. Tell that guy chokeholding me. No, you haven't even got him off the plane to talk to him. No! You need to investigate.
Relax.
I'm a retired officer. I don't know. I don't have to.
Who are you a police officer with?
NYPD, is that good enough?
No, that's good. Thank you for your service, Terry.
No, I don't need to explain why that guy chokeholding me when he's a passenger. And
Time
nobody
for an
ever stood
accident.
up for me. Nobody fucking took a report, nothing.
Terry, calm
It's
down.
all on camera. Everybody saw it.
Terry.
Nobody would stand up and said this girl was chokeholded by a passenger.
Terry.
Shame on all of you.
Terry, calm down.
I don't give a fuck. That's why America is fucking going to the dogs. Because nobody will stand up for anyone.
Terry.
You fucking piece of shit.
Terry. Put your other arm behind your back.
I'm not. No. Oh, I'm being arrested for being chokehold. Please, someone film this. Please.
You want to lock it?
God damn it. Please, someone.
All of the attempts to calm Terry down failed, so the cops were left with no choice but to put her in cuffs and take her away. But even this didn't stop her from screaming and being violent against the officers.
Stop.
Hey, if you calm down, you won't hurt him.
Oh, you fucking asshole. Put my legs down. Put my legs down.
Keep kicking me.
Please. Somebody film this.
Terry.
God damn it, leave me alone. Fucking two-face. Get away from me. She told me she would help me. She's a fucking two-face.
I just got you
kicking
my partner on camera, so... Yeah.
I don't care. I've never been to jail in my life.
Terry was then taken out of the wheelchair, and cops attempted to put her in the back of the patrol vehicle. But who would have guessed? This just made her more violent.
I told you to talk to the bartender. Please help me. Help me. Let go of the cuffs.
We're not taking the cuffs off.
I'm not fucking doing anything unless you let go of these fuck. You break my arm.
I'm not trying to break your arm, but you a state of resistance.
No, I'm not. I'm a mother. Don't do this to me.
Ma'am, step up like that.
No.
Step in the vehicle.
You fucking asshole. Let me alone. Let me alone. Terry. Let me alone. They're fucking breaking my arms. God damn you. You motherfuckers. Take these cuffs off of me. I'll go quietly. You take these fucking goddamn cuffs off of me.
We're not taking the cuffs.
No.
After literally 5 minutes of effort, the cops were finally able to get Terry in the back of a police car, where she continued to scream for the entire ride back to the jail. After the presumably long journey for the cops, Terry was charged with public intoxication, resisting arrest, possession of marijuana, and possession of a dangerous drug.
It seems that alcohol-fueled rage and Karens often go hand in hand, as this next one not only displayed entitlement and physical violence, but also resorted to racism.
This officer was called to a bar on the night of August 11th, where there was an intoxicated woman allegedly attacking multiple people and causing a serious disturbance. The woman was quickly identified as Christina Cabot, the wife of the previous mayor of the town, and someone who has clearly overstayed her welcome at the bar.
Why are you in here? I said, what do you mean?
She's been the bar for a while. Just being yeah. No. Little she is. She's 10 kids. We all do that. You all do. Yep.
Just, yeah, maybe take her to the next city over. Like you're doing a lot of time.
Other patrons of this bar detail exactly what Christina has been doing to cause the disturbance, and it's clear she hasn't made herself popular. This is also the second time today that police have been called to remove her from a bar. She's been intoxicated nearly the entire day, so the police decide it's time to have a chat with her and get her back to the station.
Who's this guy? You know what happened to me.
What happened?
You know what happened to me. I'm Tim Ford. Where have you been?
Like just now or like
Did you
my
just
whole
get
life?
here?
No, I was talking to other people.
No, you just got into La Crosse this year?
No, we had dinner together over at Turbo like 6 years ago.
And you're going to pretend like you don't know what happened to me?
I don't know why. I don't know what happened to you.
This town is going to shut town I down everywhere we go. Because the police department says that I did something wrong. All these white fucking motherfuckers think that I did something wrong.
Okay.
Even though the police department dropped all the charges. Even though the police department continued to investigate me when they had no right.
So what does that have to do with
Nothing. I don't even know who told me. You should go ask them.
So they've already told me. They
What
said
did
that
they
you
say?
were pushing people and touching people and trying to push people off their stools and have been disorderly.
Christina lets the cops know that she believes the city of La Crosse, where they are, is out to get her and her husband. Evidently, the police have investigated her in the past and dropped the case, but obviously there's something bigger at play here, or at least that's what she's trying to insinuate. In reality, Christina is extremely intoxicated and looking for any reason to blame someone else for the ruckus she's been causing, and a way to get out of this situation.
This is the guy right here. Let's go talk to him. Come on.
No, we're not.
Hey,
I didn't talk to you once.
But I pushed you off your bar stool, right?
You never know. I never said that.
I knew on my place. I'm not a couple. Sir, I think we lost you.
The police are told that Christina was politely asked to leave the bar multiple times, to which she violently refused, becoming both verbally and physically abusive, starting fights with anyone she could get her hands on. At one point, she even sat down in the middle of the bar and began kicking and screaming like a child. It was at this point the police were called to the scene.
She needs to go. I don't care where she goes. I don't care where she goes, but she needs to go.
No, we're not going to go inside, ma'am.
I am Christine. You know my name. You go in there. Oh, you're just going to accept that? We're going to be able to treat me like this as long as I live here?
Treat you like what?
This?
How will we treat you?
You're here. I did nothing wrong because they called the police out because they're white.
What was the wrong?
Same thing.
The guy that I taught on him a waste of
I'd just like to put in a good word for that lady right there. She's an okay lady.
She's okay?
Yeah, she's an okay lady.
Okay. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I just want to put in a good word for her. But, whoa, what the fuck was that? I do this shit. Why you push me? And I ain't with nowhere.
Well taken.
You did see that right. This guy came over to put in a good word for her after talking with Christina in the background, and then she immediately walked over to pay him directly in front of the cops.
Actually, I don't feel safe in the city anymore.
Now that he ain't
What's more is, if something happens to me tonight,
This is my job, bro. Bro, this is what I. You know that. Yeah. I swear to God.
You're good.
Bro,
you saw that, called you
I do this shit, bro. Thank you.
Ma'am, is it okay if we talk over here for a second?
No.
I do this shit for real, for real.
You come over here and talk to me. And my name is Christina, and you know me.
I'm just
Don't call me ma'am.
Why?
So that asks you
Christina,
to.
is it okay if we talk over here?
Yeah, I don't know what you want to talk to me about.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure you can do it right here. No one's
So
here.
unfortunately, you do have to go to jail tonight, okay?
Wait, hold on. Do you think I deserve to be arrested right now?
What's your charge?
I don't know. What am I being charged with?
Being arrested for disorderly conduct.
Oh, disorderly. You being detained. Oh, white girl. I don't know.
Due to everything that's gone on so far, the cops decide to put her in cuffs and take her to jail for the night. Frankly, it's impressive that even while restrained, she still managed to make enemies. On the way back to the car, she refused to cooperate and made her legs weak, forcing the cops to drag her. And even that wasn't the most annoying thing she did on this walk.
I need you to put that wallet in my purse.
I'm gonna carry it all the way over there. Okay? Just like
no,
this.
I want you to put it in my purse.
Well, let's go and then we'll make it happen. Okay? Thank you.
I'm not going in.
You just need to walk.
Yeah. Explain problems.
Is there a reason why you're doing this, Christina?
Yeah.
That's so disgusting.
You know what they say, you either die the hero or live long enough to start a podcast and people realize they actually hate you. This couldn't be more true for Howie Mandel, who has become so disliked that even Dana White walked off his podcast within 20 seconds of being introduced.
Only an amazing businessman, you are an inspiration, you are a philosopher. The way you do business, the way you conduct your business and your friendships and media is I'm jealous, but Dana, I can't thank you enough for being here.
And thank you for all the kind words. I appreciate it. I am so tired of doing podcasts. I'm literally done with them. I'm not doing any more podcasts.
However, the podcast that changed Howie's public perception actually occurred when he was a guest on Not Today, Pal, which is a podcast hosted by Jamie Lynn Sigler and Rob Eiler, who are most famous for their roles as brother and sister on The Sopranos, one of the most iconic TV shows of all time. Now, the problem with this episode can be assessed by the very first thing that Rob said.
Some people would introduce our guest as Hollywood royalty, but to me, he is the Christopher Columbus of my people, which are the germaphobes, the OCD, these people. I just want to thank you for everything you've done.
I'm the Christopher Columbus of mental health?
Yeah, I feel like you were the first one.
I discovered neurosis and
you put
OCD.
it on the map.
I feel like you went
so
out
the
there.
Nina, the Pinta, and the sanitizer.
Yes.
Oh,
Very good.
There
What
it
I did
is.
there?
I
Yeah.
love it.
Rob chose to introduce Howie not for his accomplishments in Hollywood, such as being the host of Deal or No Deal, one of the biggest game shows of all time, perhaps being a long-standing judge on America's Got Talent, or maybe being the voice of Gizmo in the 1980s classic The Gremlins, or even simply that Howie is a veteran stand-up comedian who has been performing since 1977. Instead, Rob chose to celebrate Howie for his openness over the years about his obsessive-compulsive disorder. It is very publicly known that Howie is a germaphobe, but that is a massive understatement to how he describes his OCD. a vicious dark circle. His makeup artist must use brand new sponges every day. He won't touch his money unless it's been washed. He avoids handrails like the plague. Handrails are my enemy. I never go near a handrail. Even the reason why he is bald is because he believes it is cleaner than having hair to maintain and wash. I'm always on the verge of death in my mind, he said in 2009. He even wrote a book about going public with his struggle with OCD called Here's the Deal, Don't Touch Me. Now the reason why Rob introduced Howie this way is because Rob too suffers from extreme OCD, specifically in the form of obsession over germs. Rob made it clear from the beginning that he looked up to Howie. He established common ground with their OCD struggles, and it seemed like Rob wanted to deep dive on this topic.
Do you think germaphobe eventually will get a new name that'll be changed into where they won't use germaphobe anymore?
Like a more technical name?
It'll get woke.
Or there is a technical name.
What is it?
Misophobia.
Misophobia.
Yes, but I think eventually it'll just be known as Howie.
Rob probably lives your dream life, to be quite honest.
Why?
I barely leave my home, yeah.
Either do I.
Yeah, really?
No, it seems like I'm out there because I'm on television and I'm on podcasts, but I'm a hermit. I live in the fetal position in my room, wherever I am, as I come out to regale you with stories.
Right.
But do you love being home, or is it like a torture where you're like, I want to go out, but I'm stuck here?
I spend my life trying not to be tortured, because my resting face or my resting being is tortured.
Mm-hmm.
So I spend my life not to be tortured.
Howie also goes on to say that he is doing better than ever these days. He is taking medication and receiving therapy to combat his disability. But the key thing that helps him through his tribulations is distraction.
The biggest one is distraction. So I stay busy as possible. At my age, to be doing all the things that I'm doing as frequently as I do them is by choice. And then when I'm doing that, then it distracts me from my own inner mind. Unless you show up someplace and they want to talk about it. No, I'm okay.
Oh, really? You don't want to talk about it?
No, I'm okay talking about it.
It's interesting that Howie details how not thinking about his OCD is the main reason why he is able to cope. And he even says that when people talk about it, it makes him very uncomfortable. But then he quickly recants his statement and claims to be just joking. Howie likely said that because most people probably ask him a few questions and then move on. But Rob genuinely wanted to learn, have a deeper conversation, and maybe get some advice from Howie. And after 8 minutes straight of this discussion, Howie again jokingly stated that he did not want to talk about it.
I think even in this moment, if we talk about it, I'd be a lot more comfortable rolled up at home than sitting here with two people I don't really know. I like you. I'm not knocking you, but I don't know what you've touched or who you've been with or what's breathing out of you. But the truth of the matter is, I'm doing this, and this is good.
The conversation temporarily shifts for a few minutes, but Rob circles back to asking for some advice regarding his dating life.
So something that's really is a problem in almost all my relationships is the phone in the bed. When I go to lay down and the girl I'm dating has her phone in the bed, and like I'm like, hey, listen, I'm crazy. Like, that's the way I did. I go, I'm crazy. It bothers me. I go, can you try? And they're like, oh, of course, yeah, sorry. And then, of course, the next day, and because they're used to putting their phone in the bed.
Right.
And I find the phone to be so disgusting, and I want my bed to be very clean, wonderful place. Give me some advice. I also want to know from 1 to 10.
Ass pods.
Ass pods?
Yeah, instead of AirPods. Ass pods.
So Rob asks for genuine advice, and Howie makes a bad joke. And this is where the tone shifts a little bit. It seems like Howie diverts to humor when he either doesn't understand a question or wasn't paying attention, or simply just because he is a comedian. However, you'll notice that his jokes don't land most of the time because his delivery is extremely dry and not witty. Combine that with the fact that he doesn't really want to discuss his OCD, and you get this nightmare of a conversation.
What's my advice to you?
Or even would something like
that
bother you?
Are you talking about the germs?
100%.
I wasn't even thinking of the germs.
Oh, it's
100%. How exciting are you if you bring a woman to bed and she brings her phone?
I'm talking about...
how about a little scroll and roll?
There are women who lay in bed at night on their phone, and then
not
they take
on a date.
I'm not talking about a date. I'm saying I'm dating someone for months, and they're in their bed, or sometimes you show up at their place, you show up at my place, and the phone is on the bed because they were in the bed on their phone. The germs from the phone in the bed really bother me, but I can't. What are you supposed to do? Like, I can't.
I don't think about the germs on the phone. The germs on the phone would be the same as the germs on her body. Like, where did she put her phone that she wasn't?
No, people. They do swabs on phones, and they're like phones.
Don't bother me with this. Don't tell me what's the phone is bad.
You just asked me, I think.
To clarify, this is what Rob is talking about. Let's say I'm Rob and his partner is my girlfriend Riley. Rob does not like when his partner scrolls social media while laying in bed, or maybe even leaving their phone on the bed when they get up and go to the bathroom. Rob thinks this is filthy because cell phones carry 10 times more bacteria than most toilet seats. Now, Riley and I don't typically use our phones in bed because a few minutes after we crawl into our Helix Midnight Luxe mattress, we fall into a deep sleep. Helix Sleep makes premium mattresses and bedding that are customized to fit your needs and conveniently shipped right to your door. The Helix lineup offers 20 unique mattresses, including their award-winning Luxe and ultra-premium Elite collections, the Helix Plus, a mattress designed for big and tall sleepers, and the Helix Kid mattress, designed for growing bodies and endorsed by child sleep and medical experts. Everybody's different, and Helix knows that, so they made a sleep quiz that matches your unique body type and sleep preferences to the perfect mattress for you. I personally am a side sleeper who likes a medium mattress and shares a mattress with my partner. Based on my results, Helix matched me with their Midnight Luxe mattress. I've had my Helix mattress for 1 week now and I love it. Now usually I don't fall asleep very fast. I tend to toss and turn, go from my right side to my left side on my back, and I try everything, and eventually in 30 minutes or so I'll fall asleep. But since I got my Midnight Luxe, I'll hit the bed on my right side, and in less than 5 minutes, I'm out. And also, since I'm a side sleeper, I would often wake up with aches and pains, typically in my neck or my shoulder from just kind of laying on my side like that. And after Helix, I have absolutely zero discomfort or pain after long hours of sleeping on my side. The best part is that Helix delivers your mattress right to your door with free shipping in the US. The mattress comes rolled up in a box and is super easy to set up by yourself. And if you're like me, you'll have some fun setting it up as well. Helix has a 100-night sleep trial, so you get more than 3 months to make sure you love it. Plus, they have a 10-year warranty, and they even offer financing options and flexible payment plans, so a great night's sleep is never far away. I love my Helix mattress, and I think you would too. So if you're looking for a new bed, check out Helix Sleep. You can click the link below or go to helixsleep.com/PatrickCC to get 20% off your Helix mattress, plus 2 free pillows. Thanks again to Helix for sponsoring this video. Howie finally decided to give Rob some advice, and it was honestly pretty decent, but then Rob shot it down immediately.
Can I give you an idea?
Please.
Those
Ass
little...
pods?
No, that's for taking calls.
Oh.
But what about those little sandwich bags? Those little Ziploc clear sandwich bag. You go before you come in the bed, just drop it in here, zip it up. There you go. You can see it. It's there, and it doesn't touch the sheets. You should have sandwich Ziploc bags on your nightstand if you're single.
Listen, I like that, but the problem then becomes if they don't remember that I don't like the phone in the bed, they don't remember to put it in the bag. You know what I mean?
Are you dating somebody right now?
Right now I'm not, because of my many issues.
Since Rob did not take Howie's advice, Howie thought of trying to turn the situation into a joke, suggesting that maybe the girl was on her phone because she was on probation being tracked by a parole officer. But Rob didn't even think he was joking and even talked about how he once dated a girl on probation.
I don't not let somebody do it.